All right, good evening, everybody. Dang, you guys can hear me and see me before the show starts. Ken Colbert evidently posted on the tube about 10 minutes ago, and I didn't know that was possible. Usually I fiddle around here and get it all ready to go about 10 minutes early. But anyway, it's Monday, the 6th of August, and we're here for we got some feedback. Oh, it's Sparky. We're here for our usual Monday and Friday chat. Who's feeding back?
Ain't me. I don't have nothing open.
Okay.
Not me.
Oh, well, don't worry about it. I don't hear it anymore. Anyway, hello, Ken on YouTube, and Sparky and Charles. I'll just forego the introductions. Everybody already knows them anyway. So, how you guys doing tonight? What's going on, Charles?
Oh, not too much. Looking forward to hanging out with you guys.
Well, good. How about you, Sparky? I replied to your email a minute ago.
I wrote you back. The damn keys are stuck. Everybody's so worried about the keys. Don't worry about it.
What keys?
The caps lock.
Oh, I thought you were. That usually means you're shouting at me, so I wasn't worried about them. I was just making fun of it. But anyway,
spelling and
yeah, I saw that on the Netspan. Thought that was kind of funny.
I don't know this guy. He's the big guru for everybody, but you know, I don't know him. I never talked to him. Don't know how to spell his name. I just guessed. I didn't know how to, you know, whatever. Guy on YouTube gave me a ration of shit.
I actually had the pleasure of flying with him one time. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, wait till you get my video that's edited on that video. You know, everybody says, well, Sparky doesn't know anything because I don't know all this stupid math. But everything the guy said, first time I ever saw that tape, everything the guy said is exactly what I say. Don't make the nose, you know, only as long as you need the balance. And the wider the wing on the cord, the more clock time it has. He uses something, some other word, but he's saying the exact same things I'm saying. And I'm not an aircraft engineer. I guess he was. You know, but I'll have an edited version. You'll see what I'm talking about.
All righty.
Yeah. First, I'll figure out what y'all are talking about, but I'm not going to do that now. Hey, Gerald.
Hello, Rusty. Hello, Sparky. Hello, Charles.
Welcome to our Monday night hangout. We got off to an abrupt start tonight. Jack Snavely is over on YouTube now. He just dropped in. Hey, Jack.
Busy day.
What'd you say, Gerald?
Busy day. Everybody's here pretty fast.
Yeah. Haven't seen you in a long time. How you doing, Gerald?
Oh, good. I just seem to, as summer comes on, I've got more and more jobs out. This morning I was out spraying all the fruit trees and weeding the strawberries and just trying to catch up with other things. And I've got to do all this work on different vehicles. And as the weather improves, I'll have to put more time into that. So it might cut short some of my sessions. Saturday or Friday night's always hard for me because my wife wants to go out. The kids want to go out, and they had haircuts, and they didn't get us back in time to go on Stunthangar. So I've been missing out on some sessions. But I try and re-watch them on the videos and watch Sparky's videos too when I get the time. But it's finding time sometimes, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
What kind of fruit trees have you got?
Sorry?
What kind of fruit trees have you got?
Oh, it's a mix of apple tree, lots of citrus, mandarins and oranges and limes and lemons, and apricot and peach, persimmon, and even some of the old-fashioned varieties of fruit trees and
mandarins and oranges.
Yeah, mandarins and oranges. Yeah, we even got some little ugly fruit growing. They're only about so big so far. But
take off the tangerine tree that's blooming, and cut a slot in the orange tree, and then put it on there, and then put tar over the slice, you're grafting one limb to the other. You'll have tangelos next year. They're good.
Yeah, those are good.
I've tried a bit of grafting. I did a horticultural course years ago, and that learned me a lot. I got a lot out of doing that. But because I've got a fairly big acre, it's about 13 acres, and there are no cattle on it. We just try and grow a few more trees and veggies, and our 2 flying fields I've got to work on this summer and try and improve the drainage so I can fly year round. So right now I've got the frustrating part, like on the weekend we went out and we were at the flying field for 3 hours at Bruce McLaren Park, and I got 1 flight in on a combat wing because I was busy helping everybody else. So I spent all the time helping my sons fly, helping my sister-in-law fly. She's keen to give it a go now. So my wife and in-law were both having a go on a trainer, and it means more work each time, and you've got to do the repairs at the end of your flying session. But it's good to get more people flying. But I haven't been able to practice a proper stunt session. So the best way I see I can do that will be to improve my sight at home and use a stooge like Charles uses to do some flights while everybody's at work or school, and that way I can practice my own flying, because weekends normally a write-off if I'm helping everybody else fly. Yeah. But it's fun to see the others fly and help them, but I end up doing a lot of the pitting, and by the end of the day my elbow was really sore from flicking a diesel motor, and you feel like you've helped everybody else, but you haven't had a great time yourself, apart from the meal at Wendy's afterwards. But it's sometimes the way of it.
Yeah, you know what else? When you help people fly, when I'm flying my kid's trainer, you know, it's so docile and so unresponsive that when I went to fly my plane, I almost crashed it when I did a wing out, wing over, So transitioning from a trainer to a aerobatic stunner sometimes is quite a shock.
Yeah. Well, the 2 boys are getting to the point now where they enjoy flying a combat model more than their old trainers. They're able to fly a bit of inverted and do round maneuvers. They've improved a lot. But now I've got a newcomer. I've got a daughter-in-law who wants to learn. She enjoys watching us fly, and she wants to give it a go. She's a school teacher, so we've put on displays at her school before, so she's got an idea of what it's all about, and she seems quite keen. But if she can encourage school kids as well. One of the guys that flies with us is an ex-principal, and he's always wanting to put on displays for schools or other groups and try and get us exposed to the public more. But that's a lot more work as well. If any of you have done public performances in the past, you know what it's like. It's a lot of work for what's often no reward. But you've just got to keep trying. If you can drag a few new modelers in, you feel like you've succeeded. And it's really satisfying when you see them learn to fly the pattern or just learn some maneuvers and get some joy out of it. But
yeah.
Well, I got a big surprise today. About a month ago, one of our viewers who has never posted on the YouTube side or joined us on video wrote me an email and said that he wanted to thank me for doing the show, all I'm doing for the hobby, and he had a little something he thought I'd be able to use that he'd pack up and send me, so keep an eye on the mail. So I kept an eye on the mail for a while and forgot about it, and it was 3 or 4 weeks went by and didn't.
Buddy, what's going on?
What'd you say?
I was sparked on the phone.
So anyway, I got another email from him on Friday, and it said, I finally got it in the mail, so look out for it. It's supposed to be at your house by Monday. And so when I got home this morning, I looked as I drove by the front door, and there's a huge box propped up against the side of the house. And I'm like, damn. Well,
we're going to have a special guest here in a minute.
Oh, okay.
All right, cool.
We're going to get a report.
All right. Well, let us know when he's coming and when he starts, and I'll shut my mouth.
Any minute. Any minute you'll be on.
All right. Well, anyway, I opened the box, and this is what was in it. And when I say I opened the box, it took me an hour to get into that box.
Oh, look at that.
This is a full-blown Super Satan. It came from Tom Luciano.
Oh, that's cool.
That's nice, yeah.
He built it in 2010, and it was the first one he built when he got back into control line after flying RC.
Oh, what a nice gift. That's nice.
It's great, yeah. And he watches us frequently, and he said he didn't want to come on camera because the shop's such a mess. I assured him that most of y'all's shops are messy too, and y'all didn't care if his shop was a mess or not. I don't think he's going to be able to come in tonight, but he said he'd try it for Friday, and he wrote me a nice letter to go with it too. The story of the plane, and when things are given to me like this, and the Magnum's another example. The story of the plane, the history of it, means a lot too. So I'll keep that with it. And it doesn't need any fixing up; just needs a motor bolted on it. It may be a little bit of, you know, fixing here and there, but nothing's broken. It's solid, and so I'll work up to it. I'll probably get Mike Lundke or Sean Cook or maybe Ken to fly it the first time.
What motor is it?
He said it's built around a 36X, and it doesn't have a motor on it now, but I've got a source of motors for it. I think Howard Shenton will have anything I need. I've got a Thunder Tiger 25 ball bearing, which is slow. It would be slow for this plane. You couldn't compete in combat with that, but it would probably be good for me starting out, and might be the right weight because it's light like the 36. And I've got a 46FX ball bearing OS engine, but that's probably too heavy for it, and maybe too much power. I don't know if it's just
what's the deal?
So as far as does it have a capacity for a bladder, or is it meant for a tank?
No, it's got the same kind of bladder compartment Sparky built into his Voodoos.
Oh, okay.
Looks exactly like that. And man, this is a solid hunk of plane, and it's beautifully built. He said the pin came out of the stabilator one time when he was flying it, and it crashed and did some damage to the outboard wing, and so he fixed the wing and sprayed it with dope and was hanging it back up, missed the hook, and dropped it right on the newly repaired outboard wingtip, and it crushed the ribs in there and warped it a little bit. So he did a quick patch up on it and ended up having to put a trim tab on it. But he said if I wanted to go in there and replace those ribs, you know, and straighten it out, then it would be fine. But otherwise, it flies fine just like it is. But that's kind of exciting. I like that. And, you know, one of these days, maybe I'll pass it along to Sam Leinke or somebody like that. You know, just like the Magnum was passed on to me when I was a beginner stunter.
Well, you've got a connection with the Satan series of the little Satan, so it sounds nice that you can have the big Satan combat model. Quite special, isn't it?
Yes. But anyway, that was the highlight of my day.
Yeah, that is a highlight. That's wrong.
That was the most work I ever spent trying to open a box. Man, he had it packed.
Here we go.
Okay, we're ready?
I just sent him where to go.
Okay. Well, we'll be here when he signs in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all the packing's built out of this insulation board. I don't know what you call it. It's kind of teal green.
Called insulation.
What'd you say?
It's insulation.
Yeah, some kind of insulation, but it's tight enough for wood screws to grip. So he just screwed it together just like it's made out of wood, and it holds the plane perfectly. But it got here in one piece. No damage at all.
Oh, that's great.
And I was looking for something that would fit in my pocket when I went out to the mailbox.
Yeah, I was just thinking you're thinking an engine. That's what I thought you was going to get.
Yeah, something like that, maybe.
Yeah,
But
that's great. That's
yeah,
awesome.
that is. And I got out to the shop this weekend. I spent about 5 or 6 hours in the shop this weekend. Got my table all fixed up, the glasses on it, got new sheetrock on top of that, and it's as flat as it can possibly get, and ready for that wing build now.
Ever get your monocoat?
No, I hadn't seen Bob. I'm gonna get him to stop by next time he comes to Columbia. He's up here all the time, but he just doesn't let me know when he's coming through. So I'm going to need it though when I do that wing, because I'm not. If he doesn't bring it to me, I'll go get it. One way or the other, I'm gonna get it from him. Here comes Steve Hines. Hey, Steve.
Hey,
Hey, Steve, what's happening?
not too much.
Yeah, we're waiting on a special guest star to join us tonight.
Who's that?
I don't know yet. It's a surprise. Sparky's got somebody.
Oh,
Chris Wright.
Right.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Good to see you.
There he is.
Congratulations on your good flying for the U.S. team,
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, very good fly. I saw.
and for backing up Samantha too. It's good for her to have good people behind her.
Yeah.
Hey, you got one of them new wings there? I was talking to Vince Saturday. He
Yeah,
was saying that he came out and you guys were doing wings and
yeah, no, I mean, that's a big experiment that I'm kind of the handle monkey on, but I have not. I mean, I watched him build one, but I think that technology is very potential, but I don't. The airplane they have is.
Is that your dog, Steve?
yeah.
Yeah, the airplane that they have is it's very different. I think there's about 15 innovations in it. From the arming plug is streamlined. You have to use an Allen wrench to disarm the airplane. It's got a take apart system that's never been used before. The landing gear system is new. The whole compositing of the airplane is different. The way that they're machining stuff is different. It's a very time-consuming setup and a very expensive process. So they built an airplane, or they built a set of molds that cost a lot of money, and they're going to build quite a few of them. I would change things a little bit, but it'll be a good start for them.
Another airplane we can expect to see at the Nats?
Well, it was the one that Doran was flying.
Yeah, I saw that one, yeah.
I've flown it. I flew 12 flights on it when I got back.
It's too long.
Yes.
I told him that the tail flies drooped, and the wing, the length of the airplane, so much clock time. I think, what has it got, about a 20-inch tail moment?
22 and a half.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Wow.
About 5 inches.
Yeah, the composite material, the way it's so light that it can be longer than what we're normally doing, but that's too far out there. I told them they need to move the wing back 1.5 inches to 2 inches, and they'd have something.
How long is the nose now?
I want to say like 9.5 or something. So it's not terribly short, but it's short for that setup.
Well, I think you can go up to about 11 on an electric airplane.
Yeah.
Because you can slide the battery back, but the tail, 18 is pushing it as far as the tail moment.
Yeah, I mean, you could get away with probably 19. Just the plane weighs nothing. I mean, it's a 58-ounce take apart.
Yeah,
I mean, that's really light.
Take aparts are generally heavier than solid ones, aren't they?
I'd say 3 ounces.
Yeah.
So it's the construction method has a ton of promise. They did a lot of experiments. I mean, the thing turns on a dime. I mean, I could fly it, but it's almost like I need a computer to keep it, you know, tolerable. So, because it's just so unbelievably sensitive.
Does it have those exponential controls in it?
Yeah, but they're backwards.
Exponential or logarithmic?
They get, the further the travel, the more input it
Faster it goes. Yeah.
Okay, well, that is exponential then.
Opposite of what I have in my
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. So
the elevator can be that way, a little bit. I think I toned it down almost to nothing. I mean, I only got 12 flights on it over 2 days, so I didn't really run it through the ringer. This is all just my gut after 12 flights. The elevator you can get away with. It's really easy to fly corners. It's a lot harder to fly round maneuvers, because if you got to make any sort of adjustment, it doesn't really do anything, and then all of a sudden it does a ton.
Are you flying his airplane?
I was flying his airplane, yeah, the one he flew up the net.
Well, if
Yeah.
you lower the elevators, you know, just take the airplane and just droop the elevator probably 1/8 of an inch, it probably would go around the corner better.
Well, the thing flies an extremely tight corner. It flies great corners. You just can't fly around maneuver.
I know it's the wrong attitude. It's flying tail down. He needs to raise the tail up. Watch it. You can see it flying at that attitude.
Yeah.
That and the swept. It looks like it has swept anhedral.
Yes.
That's not good. It should be straight.
It's swept dihedral, I think it is. Goes up. That's dihedral, right?
yeah.
Anhedral is down like this.
Oh, it's up.
Huh?
It's up. It's dihedral.
Oh, okay. I thought it was anhedral.
No, it's dihedral. That's what I mean. There's like, they went and they put like 19 experiments in this thing. But it's really hard to tell, you know, what's working, what's not. They didn't just change one thing. They changed, you know.
I didn't catch who y'all said is designing and building this. Who is it?
Dono and Mark McKinney.
Uh,
So, I mean, the technology shows a ton of promise. Like,
Chris, how much did your wing weigh at this stage right here? Bell crank in
I haven't built a one-piece wing in so long. I want to say 6 1/4, 6 1/2.
with the bell crank in it, no tips on it?
You know, I'm just telling you a number. That's just what rings in my mind. I mean, I'm serious. I haven't built an airplane that. I'm building a one-piece right now. It's the first one-piece I've built in 3 years.
This was 5.5 ounces with no tips on it, no bell crank.
Yeah.
I'm up to 8 3/4 now with tips, the compression spar, the bell crank, you know, the landing gear blocks.
I want to say I was doing wings without flaps, but done putting it in the airplane at like 7 3/4 when I was doing the Geo Bolt wing. I don't remember anything about the Geo XL wing. There was a little more material in those.
Hey, did you ever get your statement back? All that come off okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't hear anything, but
No, I've been super busy.
yeah,
So,
'cause
how was the trip to France? I mean, your flights looked, I thought you beat the Chinaman.
Well, so here's the thing. Like, everybody's talking about this corner conversation. And the thing that everybody who wasn't there can't acknowledge is that even though it doesn't look any faster on video, they were out cornering everybody. They were out cornering me. Like, there's not a doubt. And I don't think it was as flamboyant as people like are making it out to be. Like, the corners were the only thing that mattered. I just think it was a priority thing was different. Like, they went, what mattered to them was corner, bottom, shapes, and intersections. Versus in AMA, it's shapes, intersections, bottoms, and corners. Like the ranking. So it's like the exact opposite ranking. It doesn't mean those things don't matter. or else I wouldn't have done as well. It's just there was a definite priority in how sharp and flat and at 5 feet or between 4 and 5 feet for the corner. They were digging for lower than 4 feet, but they were scoring better if you're 4 to 5 feet versus 5 to 6 feet.
Yeah, that's what I said too. Is that I don't think their corners were really any tighter than yours. It's just that they were putting them down at 4 foot, and the judges liked it.
Yeah.
And as I told everybody too, if we had had the wind when we were first practicing that first week, that, you know, if it would have been that way for the contest, you'd have been in the top 4 if you hadn't won. You were out flying everybody in the wind. But it went dead calm. We got, what, 5-mile-an-hour winds?
Yeah.
And their airplanes did not do good in the wind. I mean, your airplane and Samantha's airplane flew better in the wind. But that's just the luck of the draw. I mean, it went down to 5 miles an hour. It wasn't turbulent.
Yeah. I flew my 3rd flight for finals with the wind in my face.
No problem.
You know, it's just the way it's, you know, the wind was so swirly the last 3 days.
Yeah. It changed a lot. It wasn't strong, but it just changed direction. And once you set the judges, that's where they stayed.
Yeah. And I took off. I flew my loops and went inverted, and the wind shifted exactly into my face.
So it was thermals blowing through, I guess, unpredictable thermals.
Yeah, I mean, and I had a little bit of a break. So Igor flew right before me, but we had, you know, the judges break right before that. So everything was changing while that was happening. I think that Igor and I stood out in the middle of the circle, and the wind changed 4 times from where it was.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, it's the way it is. So I mean,
I'm gonna download that guy's tracing program and download some videos from there and see whose flight was tighter and the shapes were better. I watched a couple of them tracing videos, and them guys are pretty close to right on the money.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. I watched a few flights. I mean, it really shows egregious errors, but man, it's hard to tell when a maneuver looks right. It pretty much looks right in the tracing program. I'm already setting up. Me and Fred are setting up to be able to use it on the field for coaching. I think it's going to be kind of like baseball. You record like 10 flights, and you try to find the patterns, because it's not going to be a shaped program, and it's not going to be anything really to help with corners, but it's really going to help in seeing your consistent errors, you know, and being able to mathematic, like percentage-wise, well, you're pulling up early on this maneuver 65% of the time. So pay attention to that, you dummy. You know, that's what I think it's really going to be beneficial. Because like I watched one of my maneuvers, I think it was my hourglass, was probably 30 degrees off of where it needed to be, and it looked horrendous. I was like, on that program, I was like, wow, that is a really ugly maneuver. Then somebody posted a video of the same flight from right down from the judges, and it looked beautiful. Like, you know, it's just.
Yeah, it makes just a few degrees left or right from your point of perspective makes a huge difference in what it looks like.
I mean, I never noticed how different it looked, but I was shocked at how different it looked. And then I was like embarrassed. And then I saw another of it. It was great. So.
Yeah, when I thought the camera was off. That's what I allowed for the hourglass. I saw the hourglass, and I thought that camera is just not in the right position, because it's kind of it's skewing. It was skewing a lot of people's hourglasses.
Yeah,
they were kind of tilted or drooping. It wasn't like what I would expect.
I went up this way, and the other side went way back over this way, the way it looked on that trace program.
Camera.
Yeah,
it's not you.
I really think, though, that if you do that video, you need to make them placards up. You know, Samantha said that she never seen them when she flew.
Yeah.
But with the video, you can really see where the bottoms are at. Because I remember, you know, when we swore that them damn things were way too low, and they lasered them, and they were, you know, so that was at 5 foot.
Yeah.
But I mean, what we're thinking is a 5 foot bottom is not a 5 foot bottom. It's between 5 and 6, and you really need to.
Yeah, and I really
video.
Yeah, that hasn't been talked about in the forums, but in AMA, you don't fly to placards.
Right.
What looks low in AMA is actually 5 foot.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I said that last year, that Japanese guy that came over with, yeah, and he was flying there and everything. Like, man, his bottoms are way too low. They got to mark him down. Shit, he was at 4.5 feet to 5 feet on his bottoms on them placards, and I just couldn't believe it. It looked like he was below 4 foot to me.
Yeah, and that's a big factor into this whole thing. It's just AMA scores different. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And if you wanna do well, you got to play the game.
Yeah, I think that the next team. That's why like placards and video with that tracing thing and get ready actually for the World Championships. I mean, it was just you adapted faster than anyone else, but it was just real hard to adapt to that flying. If if you would have started where you ended, you'd have been right in there in the top 3. I still believe that. If we had a win, you would have been. That's what?
That's 4 foot right there.
Yep.
And I never fly that low.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not wrong. 4 foot is okay.
Yeah.
And what it is that they're watching for the wing to come through that,
Yeah.
not the tail. Everybody's like, oh, that's 5 foot because the tail swooped in, but the wings are higher than 6 foot, and the tail would come around. And that was when we first there. I was seeing it, and it's like I couldn't believe it. I was getting on Samantha before we left about flying her bottoms too low, and I was wrong. When you put them placards up, you can see it.
Let me ask you this. How hard is it to get used to the difference between 8 minutes and 7 minutes from the time you signal the judges?
Well, you don't. That's a nice thing. You don't have to signal the judges.
Oh, really?
As soon as
when does the clock start?
Clock starts, your engine runs, or with an electric, you signal. But if you have an overrun with an electric, you have bigger problems.
Yeah.
It only takes 5 minutes 40 seconds to do a full pattern.
Yeah. I was probably at 6:10 each flight. It's probably 5 or 6 laps afterward.
Mm-hmm.
I think here's the thing. Like, this isn't being. Is this thing recorded? Yeah, it doesn't. The thing that a lot of people don't realize is just how hard your first World Championships are. It's a whole nother experience. I told Joe at the beginning, they were all ready to fly, wanted to practice a lot, and just go, 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 go. And I was like, you guys got to realize this is a marathon. There ain't no. I mean, you gotta it's the most athletic thing that I've done since I turned 20, because you're carrying your stuff so far. You're running around to practice circles. You're, doing for like the first 3 days, trying to get everything tuned right. So you're exhausted because you haven't slept, because you're all jet lagged. You're doing all this stuff. You're mentally just completely shot. And then you go from flying, like trying to work really hard, to you fly once a day. Like, that's a hard thing mentally to be ready for.
Yeah.
And I think that hurt Joe and Richard more than anything. When I was in Spain, I got a feel for it, and I remembered most of how that was. But I was like mentally prepared for what was about to happen to me.
Is this their first time?
That was their first time.
Yeah.
And and so I was kind of in a different mindset of like, I knew a lot more. My expectations were like, they're used to flying at the Nats where you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. Food's not a problem. And here, like, you were allowed to eat from 11 to like 1. If you miss that window, you ain't getting any food. The grocery store closes at 3. All the restaurants are only open for that short period of time because it's just a chef that shows up to the shop and cooks you food. And then you can't eat till 7, and they're open from 7 to like midnight. Like, it's just everything is different. And that's just hard to get your mind around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the other thing, Samantha's first flight, we did all the practice. She went there. When she come off the field, she was pretty much in tears. I mean, it was so overwhelming, to represent the United States and stuff like that. She was afraid of letting everybody down and this, and, it was totally hard on everybody. And then you add little problems. Richard with the fuel, he couldn't, get his motor to run right till the end. And
you couldn't get your cigarette lit. I seen it. You had a yellow shirt on standing by the fence.
Did I have my cigarette lit or not?
No, you couldn't get it lit. It looked like you were asking somebody for a light. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. The one guy from Cuba borrowed my lighter and then forgot to give it back to me, and I had no lighter. He brought it back. I went and bought one, and then he brought it back a couple hours later. I said, I'll keep it. I got one now.
I'm watching everything.
Did you say Cuba?
Yeah.
I didn't know they had a Cuban team. I missed that.
Yeah, they were great guys. They practiced with us over there at the one field. We've seen them.
Well, they're all friends of the Resties.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
But yeah, they all seem pretty nice.
I got a steam box now, Chris.
Yeah? I'm pretty old-fashioned bath.
Steam generator and a steam box. You can bend a 2x4 with it.
Also.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would just droop over that.
So, shit, I can't think. I just said his name there a second ago, and I can't think now. But he said he was out there working with you, and you made up a wing like Samantha's out of that foam with carbon and.
Well, no, it was an SV11 wing.
Well, I heard that crack, and you opened that pop. I thought that was that balsa wood.
Oh, this ain't gonna crack.
It was an SV11 that you guys made.
Yeah.
Oh, Vince, yeah, he thought it was Samantha's, the wing off Samantha's airplane.
No.
So you just hot wiring the foam. That's what they're doing, and then covering it with vacuum bag in it.
Completely. No, it's a machine, a CNC machine mold, and then I'm not gonna be able to talk and do this at the same time. The CNC molded machine mold. Then what they're doing is they're spraying it with a clear coat of urethane, so it has urethane finish, and they're putting down this special carbon fiber. I think it's called Carbo Weave. They're putting on this foam and fiberglass material, and they're vacuum bagging half of the wing or a half of the shell. And then they do that, and then they glue those together. It's very similar to the way the Thinkers do it.
So is there foam in between that, or are there just ribs?
There's no ribs.
There's nothing in there. It's empty.
There's a single spar.
Oh, okay.
It's good. It'll work.
So what the hell did Vince actually make up then?
I don't know specifically what listed. It wasn't there.
I can't hear you, Chris.
Hold on.
All right.
I had to pick one. I gotta do one more here in the next 20 minutes, and I gotta go do the dishes. Yeah, no, it's Carbo Weave with this foam and fiberglass. So they vacuum bag that into one piece. Got the take apart hardware and everything in it. Then they do the other stuff, the other side of that wing. Same thing. and then they basically glue it with epoxy and micro balloons together. That creates wingtip, everything all in one piece. And you put a lead out guide in it. Pretty, I mean, it's thought through. I just wish they would have done more common, design. But it's a solid technology. Way to build it.
Is the mold made out of steel or out of?
No, it's I don't know. It's an actual molding chunk of tooling resin or tooling mold material.
What was that you sent me, Rusty?
Oh, I muted your mic while you were sanding. You might have seen a pop up for that.
Hey, you mute for a second. I gotta sand this.
Okay.
You can throw it in the bath.
So is that the wing for your new airplane then? Or is this a different wing you got going on, Sparky?
Oh, that's my new airplane.
I thought you had the wing pretty much done. You just...
I put the compression spars in it, mounted the bell crank, working on the tips, did the landing gear blocks. I posted a video on how to do the landing gear blocks. So when I take it back, it'll be covered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just added that to my watch later list. I want to watch how you make the landing gear.
It's
Oh, looks like Tom Creasy's in YouTube watching us. So is Mike Lonke. Didn't notice when they came in. Hey, guys.
Hey, Tom. Get back on here, man. We want to talk to you.
Middlesex Modelers. This must be Al Ferraro coming in. He's one of Tom Luciano's buddies, I believe. Tom's the guy that sent me the Super Satan, but that was before you got here, Steve. I got a big Super Satan in the mail today.
Well, that's cool.
So Al's flying field where he normally flies. Looks like a circle.
What'd you say, Gerald?
The Middlesex model is Al. Is that his flying field that he normally flies at there in the little picture? Oh, here it is. Yeah. Well,
You gonna be at the FCM, Sparky?
maybe, I don't know. Probably. I'll be in Detroit.
Oh, you're gonna go to Detroit? Okay, that's the week before, right? I think.
Dayton is next weekend, then Detroit, and then FCM.
Now, is that in place of the Akron one when they did it down in Akron?
I guess, but they're going to have an Akron contest too. We're going to go to.
Oh, they are going to do Akron again in the fall, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's pretty nice there.
I doubt I'll have a new airplane by then, but this one here is just taking me a while because I'm toting it back and forth and really don't have the space to work on it there in Dayton.
How you doing, Al?
And once you get the wing,
I'm just trying to
like that, can you align stuff and at least glue it up there in Ohio?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll put the airplane together in Ohio. I'll probably finish it over John's house.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Al, I got something from your one of your New Jersey buddies today.
Yep.
Tom Luciano sent me this. Super Satan. It's still in the wraps. Can you see that?
Yep.
I don't have my screen clicked on, so it's not showing up fully. But
yep, my hand launched that plane many times.
really, well, it's a
Yep.
it's a badass plane. I tell you what, it's beautifully built, and he wrote me a nice letter to go with it, telling me about the plane and the story behind it. And he said if I didn't know who he was before I sent, he asked me for my address. Said if you want to know if I'm for real, just ask Al Ferraro. He'll vouch for me.
I know the guy who sent it to you. I can picture him in my mind. He was at Brodak.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He's flying the Crossfire.
He had a double diamond, didn't he?
You're breaking up on my connection's spotty. What did you say?
He have a double diamond as well?
I missed that.
Double diamond.
Airfoil? Is that what you're talking about?
The double diamond. No, the double diamond is Jim Vergani.
Okay.
Jim Vergani flies the Profile Stalker, his own design. But Tom Luciano flew the Crossfire, Bob Hunt design.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the Crossfire.
Right.
Well, guys, I'm going to hit. Nice talking to you again.
Okay.
All right, Sparky.
Good night,
All right,
Sparky.
take it easy.
See you.
Good night.
Well, okay.
Well, go ahead and ask.
I just had a question for you, Sparky.
Okay.
On the video, you have Brodak Day 2.
Yeah.
I know you have some. Well, it's too late now anyway. But I noticed that the audio is out of sync with it from when you first go on. You see Jim Vergani flying his double diming, and then you go on and you see I'm flying my fast combat plane.
Yeah.
You know, with the Mark 7 on it. I think it's something. You know, the audio. I think the audio wasn't blending right with. I guess it was the guys that you were.
Nothing I could do about it. The camera was dying. It died at the nets.
Oh, okay. All right. It's just curious. But yeah, no, thanks for the video. It's good to to check back on it.
Hey, Chris, that new wing you're building there and stuff, is that going to be a solid wing take apart, or?
No, I'm building two one-piece airplanes right now. I'm building one with the Geo. Hey, Sparky, really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get my flight from Brodak?
I might.
All right, well, don't worry about it. If you come across it, I'd like it.
All right. I don't know. I got a bunch of footage I haven't edited or whatever.
Yeah, that airplane died the day after, so I wanted to get some footage of it.
Oh, it died, huh? How come?
The spar delaminated inside it. I take apart spar. The phenolic delaminated.
What glue did you use?
No, I mean the actual phenolic material delaminated.
Huh.
So having a 4-inch wide fuselage was too wide. Like for the construction method I was using. It was fine for Samantha's airplane and the plane I flew with the Worlds, but I only had 85 flights before it broke. So,
not good.
Yeah. So anyway, if you have video of it, it's one of my favorite airplanes. And now it's dead. So
I'll look for it.
Now, this new wing, is it going to be Samantha's size wing, or are you going back to?
I'm building basically the same wing that I flew at the Worlds. It's slightly smaller. That's a foam wing. Bob's sending it to me. It'd be here any day now. And I'm doing. I'm going back to the Geo Bolt wing, the wing I used to use. I want to see how that is. I switched from it after I flew that yellow Junark because it was so stable.
Yeah.
Very stable wing, but I don't think it can do the corners that they were doing at the Worlds unless I go to a higher aspect wing. So
Clock time.
going back.
I'll see you guys.
Okay, see ya.
Yeah. What's clock time mean?
I don't know.
Chris, he means like when the plane goes through the corner,
Yeah.
he's calling that clock time. The time it takes to go through that corner.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that you gotta fly electric at the Worlds. So I gotta make the final decision to be done. So I just bought my $400 charger. I just got that. And
What kind did you buy?
one that Paul and Chris Cox recommended. It's a Power Lab 8, and they built me a 24-volt power supply for it. That was $100-something bucks, and then it has a balancer, so I can put 6 batteries on one charge. Got a balancing. Here, I'll show you. I just tested it yesterday. It takes. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, we got a clear picture of it. Hang on, let me click on it so all the YouTube watchers can see it. There we go.
So Alan Resinger built me that power supply. It's a 24-volt, and then that's the charger, and then the bouncing. I don't even know what they're called.
Yeah, parallel board.
Parallel board. So I can do 8 at a time. About another parallel board.
One thing is though, really watch that, because I ruin batteries using the parallel board. And if you get on RC Universe, these guys saying don't do it, because it's trying to balance all of the cells that are hooked, like say all number 1 cells.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got one that's low or one that's high, it's doing that to all the batteries at the same time.
It'll overcharge the ones that are already full.
And I know that's what ruined these batteries of mine. Once I went to doing a single battery, that's why that one I have is I can do 2 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a problem with the battery. And I got on RC Universe, and they were saying that that's what does in batteries, is that one is out of charge more than the others. And it's even like when I do them singly, I'll see one I'll put in 2200 milliamps, and one I put in 2170 or 2100. Depends on where the battery's in the age and the stage. And when you hook all them together, then it's hitting the one hard, and then it's overdoing the other ones. And I really believe that's what ruined batteries for me. But you may have better luck with it.
Well, I mean, Paul, Chris Cox, and Alan Resing are all using them, so it's all the same setup. So
it depends on the computer that's controlling it and its program, how close it can watch all of those batteries. If it can monitor each one individually and
it can't though. See, that's the thing with the parallel boards. It can't monitor them separately, because all of that one plug, that one balance plug, goes into one place.
Yeah.
And all 4 of them or 6 of them or 8 of them are hooked onto that same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
And it's doing an average of that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't have good luck, but maybe you will. But I went down to doing 1 at a time, and I haven't had a problem with the battery since.
Even with my simple small charger for my nickel metal hydrides that I use around the house, I try to make sure that the batteries are all at the same level of discharge before I pair them up inside of that thing too. For that, I don't know whether it individually can adjust them or not. And from what y'all are saying, they might not. It depends. Like I said, you could build it so that it did, but if it's not, if it's truly parallel, then yeah, what you're saying is right, Steve.
Yeah, we'll probably work with the batteries are new, but as they get older, all the cells are going to get a little bit more out, and that's when you'll get the problems as the cells get older.
Yeah, some become more or less conductive, and it'll throw the charge off on the rest of them that are beside them.
Well, I've been on RC Universe. I know these helicopter guys and all this kind of stuff doing it, and they're saying I think it's 0.05. You can't be off on the balance. because once it's drained down to 80%, how far that throws that battery off. And then one cell gets overheated and stuff like that. And I've been checking them all with, I bought that little checker, and my one charger, actually, it's only a single charger, and I bought it a long time ago, does a better job. But the one I got now, it actually does keep it within the 5. But the one charger will keep it within 0.1. How, I don't know how it does it different, but, you know, so I really don't know. I haven't been using the batteries that long, but a lot of these guys are saying they're getting 400 or 500 flights out of a battery. You know, if we get 40 or 50, I feel lucky.
Hey, Kevin Muffleroy just joined us. How you doing, Kevin?
Hey, Kevin.
Thank you.
There we go. Got the camera on.
Let me tell something.
Hey, yeah, I listen to him about that parallel charger. I know a couple guys in the car hobby done set their places on fire with one of them damn things. You gotta be careful with them lipos. And I've been reading a lot with these airplane guys, these old farts that think they know a lot about lipos. Pretty scary stuff they've been saying.
Hey, Chris, I wanted to tell you, since you hadn't been on before, if one of us is showing something and holding it up in front of the camera, then it defaults to us while we're making noise and you get a big picture. But if you want to lock it in large so you can get a good look, like if somebody's holding up a motor or something, then click on their thumbnail down at the bottom until it gets a white border around it, and it'll lock their image in, and that way you get a chance to look at what they're showing you without it going down to the thumbnail. When you get through, click on their thumbnail again, and the little white border goes away, and it goes back to defaulting to whoever's making the most noise. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I always tell that to new visitors, because we're always showing each other stuff, and if you don't know that, then it makes it hard to see.
But yeah, I believe that you're going to have to go with electric. I mean, you're going to have to be able to cut that speed. That's one reason too they can make a tighter corner. That Igor system slows that airplane down so much that, you know, you can hit that corner harder
without porpoising. I guess it would help with, you know,
well, timing,
like me, porpoising at the bottom, and if you had it decelerate the control surface as you pull into it in a corner, then you could stabilize. You could stabilize those flat bottoms.
I just think it makes it more consistent for you to hit the bottoms on them.
But what Chris was talking about earlier tonight, that plane that you and Sparky were talking about, you said it was just the opposite of that, didn't it? It accelerates the control surface as you add more input, right?
Yeah, but I think what Steve's talking about is the way the plane, like a normal plane would handle. I think that there's 3 reasons that electrics seem to turn faster, whether it's true or not. The main one, I think, is prop diameter and prop weight.
Yeah.
I mean, I set up for a very different contest than I went to. I set up for a super windy, super turbulent contest.
Yeah, Steve said about the same thing too, about them.
So I had a 13.5-inch prop, turning really low RPMs with a very stable setup, you know, not a ton of turn. I just wanted something really consistent that I could handle in the wind. And it's the exact opposite of what I should have set up for.
Yeah.
And I made a lot of changes the day before qualifying. I widened the handle. I took some nose weight out of it. You know, I made a lot of changes. If I would have had more time, I would have went one more handle space out. But it's hard to turn an airplane with a 13.5-inch prop when you're going against people that are turning 11.
If we'd have flown the week before, you know, and I don't have a dog in the fight, I just watched everybody. Chris was out flying everybody in that windy ass turbulent condition. His plane was just fucking locked in, and he was better than everybody. And then the wind just changed. We didn't have that super hard wind, and like you said, then his airplane wasn't set up for what the conditions were. You almost needed two airplanes, one for, you know, the windy weather and one for, you know, and I kept thinking the windy weather is going to come back because we had it that whole first week and it never did. You know, the only real wind we got after that was that damn dirt devil that Samantha flew into.
So had y'all been watching the weather forecast leading up to it, and that was what they were forecasting, heavy winds, but it
No,
didn't happen?
I was going off of what Dave Fitzgerald, who's flown there twice, and what Billy was telling me.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be, the place was extremely turbulent. Like, it's set up for F2A and F2C. And F2D really don't care.
Yeah.
You know, combat speed and racing don't really care about turbulence, you know. But it's a terrible stunt place. You know,
I saw y'all had some kind of scrappy looking trees nearby. That couldn't have been helping anything.
And by the F2A circle, there was just this wall of trees. So I set up for turbulence. I didn't set up for, you know, thermals. Very different.
Yeah.
And that's not making an excuse. That's just what, you know, the two other times it's been there in the last, you know, 15 years, it's been terrible.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and the people were telling me there that was from there that it was 10 degrees hotter than normal, no rain, and no wind. We got little sprinkles one time. They said it was the craziest weather that they've had in a long time, that it was always, you know, and I checked before we went, and the average temperature was 72. And I'm like, no, it ain't going to be that cold there. There's something wrong with that. They said that's about what it is in the summer there. They're so far north. The latitude is the same as it's above North Dakota. It's Canada latitude.
So back to the electric things, the three things. I think it's prop diameter. I think it's the ability of the accelerometer to not create the surging. The surging happens right after. You know, it's just a much smarter acceleration. And then the other thing is it's quieter. The fact that it's quieter makes it look like remarkably smooth and fast. You hear the, you know, and you know, you hear the sound of it. So it's a different. It just has everything. Everything needs you to fast corner. If you've never seen Igor hit a bottom of a wingover, you've never seen something turn. Like Orestes turns tight, Igor turns, and it looks pleasant. like
it's instant.
It's instant, and it looks nice. Like a lot of the way the sharks look, the tail drops, and it just looks like the plane is doing all this. But when Igor turns, it's like, and it's like beautiful, you know. So I don't see how you could compete for what they're looking for and stay icy. You know, when there's in the top 25, there's, you know, not top 25, the top, I think, 20, there's 2 ICs.
Mm-hmm.
And we place 6th and 7th.
Yeah.
I heard the IC fuel wasn't too good either. It was giving black exhaust, and people thought there was metal being ground up in their exhaust or something.
It was black.
It turned out just to be the oil residue was black.
Chris, you didn't have to. Your engine ran pretty good on. I mean, your motor ran pretty good on it. Richard's had a hell of a time, but yours seemed to take the fuel pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with his stuff. I mean, I had to. It didn't have as much nitro as in the States nitro has. I mean, they must have done it by volume, not by weight, or vice versa. I don't remember which one.
Oh, okay.
So it was probably more like 7% nitro than 10.
Yeah.
So I was flying. I had to pull. Normally at home, I pull out a quarter. I was pulling out an ounce and a half. So, you know, it was different for sure.
Yeah, that does say lower
Oh,
night.
I thought you had some 15 there too that you could mix it up if you needed to.
I had plenty of power the whole time. I mean, I had my engine dialed in the first day.
Yeah.
I mean, like I didn't make any adjustments besides I leaned it in a lot. You know, the first flight I flew at like 5.8, and then I got down to 5.0, which is where I wanted to be. So, I mean, I was flying on shorter lines than normal because I was set up for turbulence. You know, everything was trying to be as compact and tight as possible, so the plane would stay.
Well, I was telling them too that everybody there was flying on a lot shorter lines.
Yeah, they fly in shorter lines in here. I think that has to do with how we're used to Nats or AMA where it's wide open and it's windy, but it's not turbulent. You know, if you watch Orestes, who flies in Miami between two, basically skyscrapers, he flies on 60-foot lines. That's why.
Yeah, because Samantha was on 64s, and we had a couple people ask, "How long are your lines?"
Yeah.
And they couldn't believe that that the lines are at 64.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot different. But it was a hell of a learning experience. So it really was. It was a lot of fun.
Samantha did extremely well, just from what I could tell from the score sheets, considering, it was her first time, and as young as she is, and that she had to scratch one round too. Now, scratching that round, did it affect the score much? Because you get to throw away your lowest anyway, don't you?
Yeah. It didn't matter. Her only flight on that circle, and it would have been nice to see the first one to compare, but the Polish judge was 100 points higher than the German and the Russian judge.
Mm.
He was South African, not Russian.
Oh, he's South African?
Yeah. RSA, I guess, is Republic of South Africa.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they were 100 points lower, but everybody said that the grass circle was scoring a lot lower, but the first day it was scoring higher.
Well, not really. If you actually look at them, it wasn't. It just seemed that way in the order of flights because I got a 522. A 532, and the Chinese guy that won got a 534 that day. That was the two highest scores the entire contest on that circle. And then that was it. And then they were scoring 1070s on the pavement. It was always the lower circle.
Yeah, over there on the grass.
Yeah, grass is over there. It fluctuated tremendously. It was the most inconsistent circle I've ever flown on. But 4 days does a lot. That's hard for judges to judge 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's like almost insane. I don't want to be a judge doing that.
No, that's tough.
I'm surprised they haven't come up with an electronic judging deal with a program that can watch the plane from 3 different angles.
Man, this is a human sport. I kind of like human judges,
Yeah, but for the money that we spent, Chris spent and stuff like that, it would have been nice to have been get the human judge when he wasn't tired.
Yeah.
Though you got to be good enough to make the top 15. That's all that matters. Make the top 15 and refly.
Yeah.
That's it, and that's the objective of qualifying is to survive. And the fact that they were pretty accurate. I mean, besides the Chinese guys dropping from like 4th and 5th down to where they get 12th and 14th, everything else was pretty much right in line. I mean, the Japanese and Chinese switched places, but besides that, the guy from France, got 8th just like he got in qualifying. I got 7th just like I got in qualifying. The resties went from 4th to 5th. It wasn't a very big change.
The Italian guy, though, he dropped from what, first to
second.
Second. Well, how far did the Chinese guy? He came up though, didn't he? He wasn't in third in qualifying.
Who?
I think.
The Chinese guy?
Yeah.
He was in third or fourth. I think
Oh.
Orestes was in fourth. He was in third. Igor was in second, and the Italian kid was in first. I don't remember for sure, but I mean, everybody was out of qualifying. It was pretty close to what finals were. So.
When you said they had 11-inch props and they're flying on 60-foot lines, are these significantly smaller models? Are these like 600 square inch models?
No, they're running like 6 pitch versus IC runs like 4. So they're running smaller diameter, more pitch because they can control that surge. So with an IC, it kicks in, it's just going to kick in. It's not going to slow back down until it's ready to come off, whether the pipe governs it or not. So you have to run less pitch, and you're using your pitch to control your acceleration. Versus electric, they run smaller diameter, more pitch because it's so much smarter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like that prop of Samantha's a 5-pitch under camber, and it pulls like hell, and it weighs nothing.
It's hollow.
Yeah, it weighs nothing. It's just hard to believe how light.
So you can accelerate it and slow it very quickly. There's no momentum in it.
Yep. And so less weight because the props are hollow and less diameter means less gyroscopic precession, thus turns faster.
So the models were pretty much a 700 or bigger model.
I mean, almost everybody flies Sharks, and that's a 700 square inch airplane, or some 20 square inches, I think. You'd have to ask the rest of these.
I was telling them that they said that the Chinese boy there, his weighed 1,500 grams with the battery and stuff in it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 53 ounces or 54 ounces, something like that, with a battery. That's just.
Hey, Mike Lanke just joined us. How you doing, Mike?
But yeah, that's just crazy light.
Yeah.
But they're flying 5-cell though too.
Yeah. I'm gonna get some 5-cells to try that too.
So. I got 3 of them, Chris, or 4 of them.
Okay.
If you want to try some out, you using what end you're going to use the skate type? I can't think what they're called. What kind of connectors are you using? The Deans? Are you going to use the Deans connector?
Yeah.
I'll put some Deans connectors on them, and I got that bench to break them in.
Yeah.
I should have brought that over and let you break your batteries in. That they say that helps too.
I talked to what Paul and Chris do. They just charge them and then decharge them, charge them and decharge them twice. They say they get 300 days out of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was doing, bringing them down with a small prop and I don't know, taking 25% out of them, and then I did it 3 times. It was simple because that decharging takes freaking forever.
Yeah, it took 4 hours, but I just was like, whatever. I'm working down here. So.
Yeah. But yeah, that little test stand deal there, it just knocks them out. I set it for 2 minutes, and bang, I could put them back on the charger. 2 minutes. Run it back on the charger. I was doing, I did all 4 of them. Shit, one night there, and not too long at all. But I do have that. Are you going to the Detroit contest?
No.
How about FCM?
Probably.
If you need any of that, I can bring it. If you want to try them 5-cells, I'll bring the 5-cells. I don't know if you got anything to use them in right now, or.
Yeah, I got that waiter. I've been flying the white airplane, the test airplane.
Oh, okay.
And I really need to lose some nose weight, so that's why I want to get the outside of that airplane.
I'll bring them along. You can fly them and try them.
Yeah.
because you know that's, and I know that the Chinese they were using in the German, they weren't using as much gain. They were lowering. He was telling me that they were only running 1 to 200 RPMs over what they wanted their launch to be, and then they dropped it on the down, and they turned up the sensitivity, so it didn't accelerate going up or out, but when it came down, it would get the right speed, and then right back to their launch speed or whatever. So I know exactly how it works, but
yeah. Orestes was using 5 cells.
yeah, he was doing it too because they're not trying to get as much gain as Igor and stuff. Igor uses 6, but you can hear his. When he turns the nose up, it really hits.
Yeah, well, he's also got a rave rudder too.
Oh, okay.
A lot more drag when that thing kicks out like that. Well, I'm gonna have to run. I gotta go do some dishes and other items before I hit the day here. So.
Okay, Chris. Well, I appreciate you dropping in on us and giving us another view at the World Championships. That was pretty exciting.
Yeah,
Thank you, Chris.
Glad we could chat.
Yeah,
Feel free to drop in on us any night. I always post a link about a minute before the show starts, and so you know, come on in anytime.
All right, sounds good.
Hey, before you go, Chris, I got a exhaust fan.
Oh, great.
So I have to get back and we'll set up your spray booth, but I got the body and stuff, and we'll get a motor and we can you know, it's an old belt drive, so we can set the RPM of it and stuff like that. But I got the cage and everything, so
great.
We can set that up for you.
That'll be good.
All right. Yeah, I guess you know you won't be ready to paint for what, a week.
I'm doing 2 at once, and it takes me a lot. You know, it takes me twice as long. But I'm cutting all the parts right now to taking molding stuff. So it'll all come together pretty fast. But
yeah.
Cutting, that's why I asked Bob Hunt to make the small thing. I didn't want to have to go too late.
Oh, okay. All righty, man.
All right.
You know, you get a weekend free or whatever, and I'll run over and we'll do some more on the spray booth.
All right. Yeah, let's do it before it gets cold.
All right.
All right. See ya.
Take it easy.
That's pretty good. That's the first time I've ever met him. I don't think he's ever been in here before, but if it was,
I think one other time he was in for a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Chris is a good guy.
Very informative. Learned a lot from you and Steve, or from Steve and Chris. I've learned a whole lot. Yeah. Taken apart one day, that's all. But yeah, it sounds like yeah, the writing's pretty much on the wall. We've learned a lot about how things were and how they'll probably be. A huge amount of change that's taken place in the last 10 years or so of stunt flying.
Yeah. And the other thing is that if it's true that next year they come out with these batteries that'll have twice as much energy for the weight, it's going to even change things even more. You know, I don't know how short a nose moments they'll have to go, or they're going to be adding a lot of nose weight or something. That or your batteries will just last forever because you won't take much charge out of them.
Stop all that yawning, Charles.
I tell you what, Mike, you need to start on an electric plane for Sam.
For Sam, my ass. I need one for myself, man.
Yeah. Well, the glow motors are a lot of fun. I love my glow motors, but I can see to compete you really need an electric. You know, the glows and diesels and all the fun, but yeah.
That's the thing. The one thing I have struggled with the most in stunt is getting consistent engine runs and fuel capacity. You know, either I've overrun a bunch of times and I've run out a bunch of times. You know, I've shot myself in the foot more times than I care to count with that. So I'm seriously considering electric. we'll see. Maybe another year flying glow and see if I can just get better at it. It's easy to do with combat engines, you know, just get them going WFO on a bag and
Yeah, runs the same all the time. Certain amount of fuel, certain amount of time.
Now,
right.
how old is Sam? Is he 11?
Sam's 9.
Oh, he's 9. Okay. So basically, you get him an electric airplane and he'll be like the Chinese kid at 13.
Maybe. I don't know. He's starting to crash a lot again, learning new maneuvers, you know, and we got to get through that. But we'll get there. I'll give you if you want a brief contest report from Canton, Georgia. We went down there yesterday and flew at the Tom Dixon contest, the North Georgia Sky Rebels. We went down late Saturday, got to the field in time to put up a couple practice flights, and then went to the hotel. We missed everybody. Everybody was gone by the time we got there, but we did fly a little bit Saturday. And then Sunday, they had actually a pretty good turnout. There was 2 beginners, 6 intermediate, 3 advanced, and 11 in expert for Pampa yesterday. So let's see. Sam, 1 beginner.
All right, Sam.
That's good.
Don't know who won intermediate. I don't have it in front of me. And I don't know who won expert, but I can tell you who won advanced. It was Ron Waldron won advanced. And then John Blanchard was 2nd, and I was 3rd.
It was
an interesting side note in that that was my first advanced contest. So I was a little bummed there was only 3 of us, you know, me and 2 other guys.
Yeah.
But on my first flight, I tied Ron Waldron. We both got a 473.5. So on my first flight, I tied Ron. On my second flight, I got a 494, and I tied John Blanchard. He got a 494 on his second flight. And Ron Waldron pulled off a 501 on his second flight. So he was first. And even though John and I tied on our second flights, his score on his first flight was higher than mine. So he took 2nd and I took 3rd. But I was still pretty stoked that I was able to tie both those guys on one of my flights each. And then I was still only 7 points behind the winner in the contest.
Yeah, it's pretty good for your first contest.
I felt pretty good about that, you know.
Yeah, you should.
Huntersville will be a better, give me a better baseline of where I'm at, because there's usually what, Rusty, 10, 12 guys in advance at Huntersville.
That's about right. Yeah, they usually have a pretty good turnout.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what Paducah's turnout for advanced is. I know they got a lot of experts there. I never really paid much attention to the advanced class there because I've never flown it, but I think they get a pretty decent turnout at Paducah as well, and that's the weekend after next. So we'll be.
How did Mike Waldron do up in expert?
You know what? I've got a picture of the scoreboard. Let me walk back in the house. Look at that, and I'll be able to tell you.
All right.
Easier. Sure, nice to go to a contest. It was only 3 hours from the house, though. I'll tell you that. A 200-mile drive for us, which was good. And Dale and Derek Berry were down there. They judged expert. And I don't recall who judged for. They flew expert on one circle. They flew intermediate advanced on another circle. They combined all of them just because of the numbers. All right, so if I can, how do I turn this thing around? Expert is right there. Mike Waldron won it. John Hill, 2nd place. And Smith in 3rd place.
Yeah.
For expert.
I don't know.
Had Bill Gray and Sam. Sam won that. And then there's the advanced. Ron, John, and myself. And intermediate was won by Leroy Polk. Ty Pucci came in 2nd. And Charlie Sabaka was third, and Mike Lindler was there.
Was he really?
Yeah, Mike Lindler was there, and because I met a bunch of guys I'd never met in person before. John Onimus, I'd never.
Oh
met
yeah,
him.
Tony. I don't know what.
Tony.
Sometimes you call him John. Sometimes you call him Tony. I'm not sure.
And like Perry Rose, I don't just recognize his name.
Yeah.
Of course, the Smith brothers, I know them from Brodax and all that.
Charlie Sabatka's, he had me laughing in Huntersville. He flew one wild wind-blown flight, but he got through. And I didn't give him a chance in hell of finishing that flight, but he pulled it out. Well, good. I'm glad y'all did well.
Yeah, if they continue to have that contest, we'll keep going down there. Why is there a picture of Sam holding an airplane up there? Who is that?
This is me. I didn't know that everybody. I'm not sure if everyone knew what Sam looks like. Mike's son. He's in that Stunt News magazine. Nice picture of him.
Somebody told me he's on the back.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's right. That's the only color picture, just about.
That's Brodax backfield, isn't it?
I think it was Brodax. It sure looks like Brodax to me.
Yeah, it looks like Brodax.
Put it up again there, Charlie. Yeah, I'll be able
It's still there, but just, Rusty, click on it, make it bigger.
It gets bigger for me. There we go. It's big on YouTube. That doesn't make it big for y'all, does it?
No, I've got to click on it.
You got to individually click on it.
No, I think that's a Huntersville picture. That's the top field at Huntersville.
Yeah, it sure is.
That's from the May
There you go. That better?
Yeah, that's from the May contest at Huntersville.
Have you flown that airplane?
That airplane?
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we built two of them identical like 3 years ago. But we gave one to a kid at Brodax. Complete.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
The kid that we taught to fly. Yeah, we gave it to him at the award ceremony. Sam wanted to give him an airplane, so he's progressed beyond that airplane. I mean, it'll fly the pattern, but it's pretty light and it doesn't pull very hard. So you know, a light airplane that doesn't pull a lot. It's not.
Yeah, it's asking for trouble.
Learn new stuff on, right? Like I can nurse it through and do the full pattern with it, but it takes a little finesse, you know.
Yeah. You don't want to slow it down above 45 degrees; it'll fall off the sky.
Right.
Right on top of you.
Yeah. And on a side note, the airplane that we gave to that kid and his dad, I've been in touch with his dad constantly since Brodax. The kid's been flying the hell out of the thing.
Oh, good.
In our backyard.
All right.
But he put some longer lines on it last week, and he was about 2 feet short of a big enough circle, and he ripped the outboard wing off, hit the fence, and ripped the outboard wing off. But then it took another 2 minutes on one wing, which they thought was pretty cool. And then before he asked me how to fix it, he just went to the hobby shop and bought some glue. And guess what kind of glue he bought?
CA.
He put CA on that foam wing, and he put
all the foam up.
A lot of it disappeared. What do I do now?
They ask questions.
Yeah.
Well, you know that CA foam glue is expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure where they're at. He said there might have been enough meat left on it to get some epoxy at the thickest part of the root. I said, well, glop it full of epoxy, put some sparred doublers on, on the top and bottom, and whatever's got a hole in it, just spray a bead of great stuff in there and then saw it off and duct tape the hell out of it, man. Maybe it'll work.
The other ones use the foaming polyurethane, like the Gorilla Glue, and that'll all foam up in there. You just squeeze that in, and it'll foam up like crazy. And it's pretty strong.
Use the great stuff out of the can. That stuff will bond to foam really well, and it expands. It'll be messy as all hell, but if he can get the two pieces joined, then he can just cut everything off with a blade.
Yeah. Yeah, that's some pretty strong stuff. It does make a mess, though. Don't ever wear your...
The other alternative is, it is one of Phil's airplanes, rugged stunt trainer, and he designed that. There's a 1-inch basswood wing saddle that goes around that wing, and he designed it so if you bust one wing up, you can kind of scrape out the rest of the root and just plug a new wing into it.
Yeah.
You know, and then sister some spars on there. So we may have to get him a wing panel.
Now can Sam fly the full pattern?
No, not yet.
No, okay.
He picked up a few more maneuvers, and he did hourglasses. He can do triangles, no problem now. He can kind of do square 8. He can do the inside square of it, and then the other one's just kind of a wobbly outside round, you know. But we have not done outside squares. He did some hourglasses at the Nats while we were there that week, and he attempted a couple of clovers, but he got into trouble with those. And he did do a couple of vertical 8s with me out there with him. He's close. I think what our next plan of action here before we start tearing up all his stunt planes is I'm going to get down some more of these slow combat planes that I got, the old slows with the big foam wings and the long booms. And I'm just going to put a Mark III on it, prop down, run it rich, and let him use those. Because if he crashes them, he's not going to hurt them, you know.
You can put the bottom backwards.
Got 10 of them hanging on the wall.
Well, if you get around Derek and stuff, you got to have Derek trim out an airplane for him. I mean, that was one thing.
You saying I don't know how to trim out an airplane?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't know how to.
You're probably right. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
I tell you what, when Chris was trimming on Samantha's airplane, it made a difference like you cannot believe. The bad things where it's losing tension and all that shit went away for her.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's what I said 3 years ago. 4 years ago, we should have had an airplane like he was flying now. That should have been the whole thing, to have it one built like that, one trimmed like that.
Yeah.
The learning curve would have been so much better.
I think that's good advice, but at this point, we're still
once he
full pattern. We're flying simple profile stunners till he stops crashing. I'm not going to invest in a super nice airplane for him just yet, you know, or put in the time to build one, because he's going to go into another wrecking airplane phase here as we progress with the pattern.
He's still a little young.
Yeah.
He's going to have to fly junk and learn to fly it.
Yeah, that's what I've found.
The longer he flies junk, when he does get a nice airplane, he's going to be like, wow, Dad, this thing's great, you know.
But he'll have so many bad habits. That's what we found out with Samantha. Is like forcing the airplane through and making it turn and stuff like this. When we went to that electric Vector, it made everything so much better. You know, and that doesn't even fly near as good as the one she has now. But the Vector made a huge difference.
Not investing right now. Like I said, through a spurt where he's crashing again. His overhead gate, he crashed yesterday on his second flight, and plane got behind him, and he got torn. You know, and that's a couple of times here recently. So we're gonna go back on board with the old slow combats and get him over the hump. You know.
Well, it's got to be something, you know, consistent. And if the slow combat, you can make it consistent.
Oh yeah.
But it's a lot of it when they're learning. If you get a bad engine run, first you're flying 5.3, then you're flying 4.9, then you're back.
Yeah,
and
take them 5 seconds, but I mean, look at it. I got like 10 of those things up there. They all fly good. I mean, they're trimmed out well for combat, and they all have suction tanks on them. So getting the speed is not a problem at all. And actually, I'll probably let them fly them a little bit fast.
yeah. Yeah, as long as it's consistent, and you know, that's like you're saying with you know, getting a consistent engine run. You know, when they're first learning and the damn thing is running a little rich or whatever, and they don't have the same pull, there ain't the same feel on the airplane, and it gets them in trouble. You know, you've flown long enough that, you know, you can make it through it cheating
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
When when they're first learning, they don't know how to cheat things through a maneuver and stuff, and it gets them in trouble quick.
Sure. Sure.
But yeah, it'll all lock in. It was like with Samantha. It was like, I don't know, brain fade, and then just we came back from the Nats, and she's like, I'm gonna learn the whole pattern, which we've been trying to do, and within 3 days she had the full pattern done.
Yeah.
It is just something that clicks finally.
Sure. And it'll come, but
Yeah.
again, stunt is not our primary focus. It's really combat for both of us. So, and that kind of hurts us a little bit there too, because I'd rather work on his combat skills than his stunt skills, to be perfectly honest. And so would he, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
He likes flying stunt, but he's all about combat right now. That's all he cares about. We go to stunt contests because there's not a combat contest to go to.
Yeah. But Samantha, I mean, we had her in profiles the whole time, and I bought Oriental and did that up, and she flew that. That's when she won beginner. And we came home, and she learned the whole the rest of the pattern in, like I said, 3 days. And it was all that airplane. But the other ones didn't have tension, and they didn't fly well. Once she had an airplane that flew good, and I forget who helped, Bob Hunt, whatever, helped us trim that thing out. Or at Brodak. Everybody was there helping, getting the thing trimmed, band jock and everything. It was just a huge difference on what she could learn.
And when she won beginner at the Nats, now she got bumped to intermediate at that time, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that's going to be Sam will be in the same boat, and I don't think we will go to the Nats for him to fly intermediate, because that puts us there, 2 days before any combat events start. So as far as the Nats goes, I don't think we would go there just for him to fly that event, because I'm not flying intermediate.
Intermediate's flown the same day as beginner, I believe.
I understand that, but it's Sunday, and it's 2 days before our speed limit starts and the other combat events that we fly. So it would require us getting there Saturday as opposed to getting there Tuesday, is what I'm saying.
Right.
I don't know if I'd want to do that just so he could fly intermediate there. He flies enough stunt at other contests, Huntersville, Paducah, and now the Canton contest. So I hope they keep that one, because that was nice. That was a nice, easy one to get to. And I mean, hell, it was over at 1:30, and we were back home in Tennessee at 3:30.
Yeah.
Our time change, so 3-hour drive. But we were home at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Well, one thing is too is that it's a good, I don't know how long they'll do it, and they should do it. That they're still letting him fly beginner, because once Samantha won beginner at the Nats, they booted her into intermediate all contests.
No, they don't do that. I don't, because he can't fly the pattern. There's no point in putting him in intermediate when he can't fly the full pattern. And they don't do separate awards for juniors at local contests. So I mean, that would be kind of defeating for him, I think. If he doesn't have any chance to win in intermediate, to make him fly it, I don't think it's fair.
Yeah, Samantha was flying intermediate, and she couldn't fly the whole pattern.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't make Sam do that. And if that was the case, he won't be flying stunt at those contests. We're just not going to do it. We'll save our contest trips for combat contests or something he can fly in beginner. I mean, it's going to be a moot point anyway, because he'll be there next year. Yeah. I fully anticipate. I mean, who knows? Maybe by October he'll have mastered the full pattern. That's a possibility by the time we get to Huntersville this October. But if not this October, it'll certainly be by next year. He should be able to do the full pattern.
Yeah, because that's one thing nice about Brodak is that
they
move you up, but they give a junior.
They do. and I think they should.
Yeah.
They should distinguish. They should reward the kids that are flying, the juniors and seniors that are flying. They should be flying against each other in whatever skill class they're in. You know, not putting a 9-year-old junior against 10 grown-ass men that have been flying God knows how long. You know.
It only takes them about a year though, then they start beating all them guys.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. That'd probably be good if Sam starts whooping on him. Well, he's already whooping on the grown men and beginner. He's doing that, so.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It gives them I don't know, the competitive or whatever, but they learn so much faster than the older guys.
Yeah, well, they can see a lot better reflexes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Is Sam talking smack? Is he started smack talking to anybody, or
no, Sam?
Probably with the grown-ups too. He's got no other kids to smack talk with either. So
well, he wouldn't do that anyway.
That's just not Sam.
No, that's not him, man. First of all, I'd smack him down if he talked like that.
Well, I
want him to win, but I want him to be a sport and a good competitor. You know?
I don't mean ugly smack. I mean just friendly ribbing, that sort of thing. But it's hard to do when you're such an age difference. So you can't go, smack talking.
Any of his friends fly?
What's that?
Any of his friends in your neighborhood? Anybody there interested in flying?
I've got a neighbor who's my age who flies RC, and he started flying control line with me. He comes out to the RC field, but no kids.
Yeah, that's what I said. If anybody, if Sam had some.
They start school this Friday, so Boy Scouts will be ramping back up. I'm sorry, he's still Cub Scout. And we didn't get to squeeze it in last year because we ran out of time. We were going to have a control line flying day with the pack. Move that right to the beginning of the year. As soon as we get back going in September, one of the ladies has a nice piece of farm property that's real close right here. I've already gone and looked at it. She's given us permission to fly. We are going to have a control line day with the Scouts here soon. And I'm hoping we can pull 1 or 2 or something. I'm just going to put them on some of Sam's trainer planes. If it takes off and people show interest, I thought maybe the next thing we could do is a den with the entire pack, which build some 040 platters. Build some,
like the Osborne platter.
I can cut out a bunch of kits. Christ, I know I have 10 over here, so I don't need to buy engines or anything like that. But I think we could come up with enough motors that every kid could have an airplane. So we'll see.
That's the whole sad part about. I don't give a shit if it's RC or if it's control line or whatever. There's no kids.
There's a bunch of kids that fly at our RC club.
Oh, is there?
We got some motors
There's quite a few kids at the RC club. So, because I thought Sam was going to be something special out there, because he can fly his electric RC plane all by himself, no problem. And we go out there and there's 5 other kids his age doing the same thing, and they're flying helis and drones and all that shit. So,
yeah, my brother said that he's seen the most kids there because he was at the Nats last week flying helicopters. He said he couldn't believe how good the kids are flying helicopters.
Yeah.
Well, there's no flying RC around here in the past few weekends.
Why is that?
Trump's here.
Yeah.
Trump's here on weekends.
Oh.
RC fields. And the control line field. And we're getting TFRs all the time.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
Oh, New Jersey. I'm, right where Trump goes to his golf course in Bedminster, and that's only like 3 miles from my house. But they have a 25-mile radius. So that.
Send him a letter. Tell him to go back to Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, right. But he's been coming up here. He's been going to PA and Ohio, giving his
speeches, yeah.
And then he heads back to bed, his golf course. the RC guys are really, going crazy. But we had a stud contest, a club, and we usually hold it at RC field because the grass is real nice there. And this is the second year that we had to move it to a different location, so so we could have it.
I think that's crazy about control line. What are you gonna just time it, let the handle go, and it's gonna fly into
no, we can't understand it either. While they're, one of the guys was, trying to get, with the FAA to get an exemption for a control line or a special letter so he could give to the RC field, the park, so they would allow us to fly.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get nothing in writing. And without anything in writing, they're not going to let us. Nobody can fly.
Well, I got an interesting story from a few weeks ago. We did a fun fly at the Maury County Airport here, just south of Nashville. The RC Club, they were doing a car show and a vintage airplane fly-in and some music bands and stuff. This is a small regional airport. And they invited the Columbia RC Club down to fly RC models in between airplanes taking off and landing. Well, Daryl had asked me to bring some control line planes out to fly control line demos. So Sam and I brought out a bunch of speed limit combat planes, and I brought my Stooge, and we went to the pilots meeting, and with the RC guys, they would only let them fly when there wasn't an airplane in the pattern. So they could fly, then they couldn't fly, they could fly, then they couldn't fly. And they had a CD there, that one of the RC guys was a contest director, and he explained to the head airport guy about control line airplanes. And the guy had never seen one, didn't know what they were. I showed him, and he's like, "You're attached to the handle the entire time. It's tethered flight." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You can fly all day long."
Yeah, right.
And they did. They set us up on the edge of a taxiway, had a grass area for us, and Sam and I flew like 15 demo matches while the RC guys were around with their thumbs.
All right. Yeah.
We're
I
out
like
there
hearing that.
all morning. We finally we got tired and hot and had to call it a day around noon, nonstop from 9 a.m. And we've been invited back. So
yeah, they need y'all to entertain them.
Yeah.
The Sunday, 2 Sundays before, they had locally the Hot Air Balloon Festival, and they gave them, the FAA gave them special relief where they could have the balloon festival and fly the hot air balloons. They go up and they go about 5 or 6 miles and heads towards the golf course. But they allowed that to happen, but they won't allow us to fly our tethered planes.
Yeah, well, I was pleasantly surprised that airport manager allowed us to fly control line. I mean, once he knew what it was, and he's like, "They don't go away from you," and I'm like, "No, I didn't tell him about lines breaking and stuff like that."
Yeah,
don't have a flyaway.
We didn't have flyaways, but yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. He was like, "Yeah, you guys are good to go, man. Just stay where you're supposed to stay and have a good time." So
I wonder, do you know if he watched y'all fly in?
Oh yeah, he came down to watch.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we were the highlight of the day, man. The RC plane.
Yeah, it sounds like it. That's fun.
Everybody was down there hanging out, and I think, from what I gathered, they went to a post event meeting with the planners and stuff, and they figured out there's going to be another part of the airport where they're going to set us up, and they're going to let the RC guys pretty much just fly all day long. So they've alleviated that problem. The problem was the area we were flying was right next, not to a runway, but just an active taxiway.
Right.
And they did not want any planes flying while there was any RC going. There was planes taxed.
No, absolutely.
They found another area of the airport that they can move them to. So, but we'll be back there flying combat again next year for sure. And who knows, if they can get us on a paved area or short enough grass, I might get trainers out. We'll do some demos, put some on the handle. they want us to.
I'm going to go to Phil Cartier's contest in Hershey. Yes, it's Sunday. I'm going to that next Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, that's a little far for me.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long does it take you? How long does it take you to get to the Nats?
Me?
Yeah.
The Nats is like 5.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
And that's just 10 hours for me.
Yeah.
How many?
10.
10. Okay.
To me, Brodak's 5.
Yeah, Brodak's about 9 for me, 8 or 9. That's the farthest contest I Brodak. So.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah, Brodex is 7.5 to 8 hours, depending on traffic for me.
No,
4.5 to get to the Nats.
How far do you have to drive to get to Huntersville?
That was trying to think. That was 12 hours or 12 or 14. We made it in a day, but it was a long day.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember y'all had truck trouble.
Yeah, that was before. Yeah, 2 days before we left. That damn caliper seized up and burn up a seal in my tire, and the damn thing's leaking grease, and I had to pull the whole axle. And
Hey, Mike, did you see my combat plane, old combat plane I got today?
I did. Is that a full-size Super Satan?
Sure is.
And that's
It's built for a Fox 36X.
Yeah, yeah. I was talking to Tom. He said you were thinking about putting different engines in it.
I told him told me if I didn't have an engine that he could set me up with one, and I wrote him back and told him that I had a ball bearing 25 and a ball bearing 46.
No.
Sacrilege.
He's gonna send you a 36X.
Yeah, and Russ, I got one. I've got 2. I mean, I'd let one go pretty cheap if it's for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't put anything before.
Yeah.
Right now, if the 25 wasn't a weight problem, I'd probably try it just to slow it down, because then I can't even fly a stunter right now. I'm still limping around like a gimp. So whenever, I'm hoping I'll be able to fly it sometime. But I tell you what, I'll probably let you test fly it the first time it goes up.
That's a good idea.
I couldn't hear what you said.
Is it flatter?
Yes. Yeah. It takes a
Yeah.
Gerber.
Standard
Yeah,
flatter.
it is. It's got that big old bulge.
Pacifier.
Yeah, it's got a big bulge built into the outboard wing.
Oh, it is pacifier now?
Yeah, it's a pacifier. Like,
Yeah.
He told me to use a Gerber pacifier.
it's going to be like,
Yeah. Okay.
Like that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any of those, but we can.
Oh, we'll set you up, Rusty.
I got plenty of bladder stuff.
No. You got to use,
I mean, Ken Cook sent me a bunch of big bladder too for the bigger engines.
Well, we'll have to make sure, I'll work with Tom and to get you the right engine set up right,
Okay.
We'll pre-run it, pre-break it in, make sure you just bolt on and go.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun.
I need to go over it. It looks like there's a couple of places that need sealing just to make sure that fuel doesn't get in. Around the nacelle, I think there's I hadn't looked real close, but it might be a little crack or something that needs some epoxy smeared in it, that sort of thing.
But you can find on eBay, and it's a damn good engine, and it really runs. You're not, be competitive, for true combat. But the Evolution 36 with the 3-port, that son of a bitch will do over 110. That thing will.
Yeah, but they're
in a 36X, but I tell you what, it's real close.
Yeah, but Evo, that's a dual ball bearing engine, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's too heavy.
Too heavy for a combat plane, man.
Well, especially that plane. That plane's designed for the 36X.
Yeah.
Is it just a single bolt?
He's not going to fly it in competition.
No, that's not a nobody flies that type of airplane in combat anymore.
Right. So just to fly it, to get the speed, the little extra nose weight, they work well.
No, the bolt hole pattern's not going to be right. You're going to be hopping bounce. It's probably got in it. You need to put
if the bolt pattern doesn't work, that's a deal breaker.
I'll put a 36X in it. And,
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I can even bring one to Huntersville, and we can slap it in there so you can fly the airplane. Over. If you don't, if Al and Tom don't get you set up by then, I'll bring one of mine. We'll bolt it on and we'll fly.
Oh, the old round? You mean the round intake deal?
No. Well, that would work too, but no. Here else.
So it's the square one.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Yeah, I looked at. Yeah, that's it. I looked at one of Tom's threads on Stunthangar today, and it's had an engine just like that in it.
You don't want to go changing the bolt pattern and hogging.
No, not on an old plane like this.
Yeah.
I figure I'll fix it up and fly it a few times, have fun with it, and maybe pass it along to Sam, something like that, with the letter he wrote for me, and Sam can have it and then pass it along someday.
Please don't give Sam any more airplane.
Okay.
That stuff is really cool, but it'd be better suited for somebody.
Yeah.
I've got all the vintage stuff, man, and
okay, I'll put that out of my mind then.
I have handfuls of 36Xs.
Oh, there you go.
Holy shit!
I mean, every time I see one, we buy them for the parts, and because we're blowing them up. We run 50 nitro in them.
Yeah, that's what Tom said. He said this one ought to do 120 miles an hour with 50% nitro.
Yeah, I got mine. Actually, we had the street contest. I got mine up to 128. And at the combat festival, I timed on 3 watches, three separate guys.
Let me ask you about what to expect, Mike. When I first pull the trigger on this thing and take off, will it compare at all, speed-wise to that little baby Gladiator?
It'll be a little bit slower lap times than that.
Right. It's sluggish, but
there's my 36X Al on the old Combat Cat.
Yep, Combat Cat, right?
I had a pair. I actually built 2,
right?
Twin pack, and I did one red one and one black one, both with 36Xs. And at Huntersville 3-4 years ago, when Larry Davis came, we actually flew a vintage match with them.
Yeah.
They were brand new airplanes. I made them there at Huntersville.
Right.
And then we decided we were going to be cool and fly a vintage match with them. And I'll be damned, the damn elevator horn on mine pulled right through the balsa on the elevator. It just pulled right out, like hard outside. Because probably
put a little plywood. Put a little plywood. Place with putting. Base on it. Plywood.
I got to work in the morning, so I got to get.
Yeah.
I'm going to see you on Friday.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Take her easy.
Take it easy, Steve.
See you later, man.
Bye.
Good night.
Tom said the stabulator had departed this plane one time.
Yeah, that one in the ground, yes.
Yeah. And then he said after he fixed the wing, he painted it and hung it up to paint and missed the hooks and dropped the wingtip on the floor and busted it all up again. And you still see wavy shaped ribs in there that got compressed.
Yeah, I hand launched that plane, many times. And actually, this past Sunday, Tom brought out a Blitz. He finished the Blitz stuff a couple of years ago, and he flew that this Sunday, working out some bugs on the engine, getting it ready for the festival. And he's a great builder.
What's the wing area on that Super Satan? It's pretty big, isn't it?
No, I mean it's
It's
natural.
like about 450 or something.
Not sure offhand.
Well, Rusty, you don't have to run it on 50% nitro like
No,
most
no, no.
people.
Tom suggested I start
Run it
with
on
15.
Yeah, just
Put a
10%.
low
Put an
pitch
eight.
prop on it.
Yeah, well, put an APC 8.7 on it, and that 36X will be happy.
Yeah.
8. Oh, really? An 8.7? Okay.
Yeah,
That's
8.7.
smaller than I would have guessed.
APC 8.7.
Yeah.
Like Power Master Stunt Fuel, the GMA 1022.
That's my brand, yeah.
That'll work great in there. A hot plug.
Yeah, I got Enya 3s and Thunderbolts.
Yep. Yeah, that'll work great.
Is it like an idle bar or not? Does it make any difference?
I don't use an idle bar.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I don't think on 10%, I don't think it's going to go faster than 80 mile an hour. Do you, Tom?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, what would a 8.7 on it? It should do like 103.
Yeah, I'd put an 8.4 on it.
Yeah.
Well, that engine.
Believe me, I'm going to tame it before I fly it the first time.
Put a 9.6 on it then.
Well, yeah.
That's what I tried first on my Fox.
Slow it down. Put a 9.6 on it, or a 10.6. That'll make it hard to needle though on a bladder. You got to keep the RPMs up a little bit. But then Mike will have a lot of fun flying that. You let him air it out for you the first time.
Yeah, I'll let Mike feel it out first.
Yeah, but no, they're a good 36X.
Gerald's got one with.
They like I said, mine goes like 112 on that 10% fuel. No
That's
problem.
what they call a coffin back, right, Gerald?
Yeah. I've got a whole lot of the 40s. It's just an RC40. I'm thinking I can use.
I think it's 6. Okay.
Yeah, it's not the 36. It's the 40 RC converted to control iron. And I've got a whole lot.
That looks like a dual ball bearing.
Right. That's like the Mark 7 case.
Yeah. I know it's not a very powerful motor by comparison to a proper Mark 7, but I just want to put them on the Russian-style combat wings. That one's a little bit bigger. It had a 21 on it at one stage, and just. Would you start with like a 10.6 on that as well?
A what?
A 10.6, would that be a good starting point for the 40?
Probably
put an
9.5, 9.6.
How you want to go fast? Put an 8.8 APC on it.
No, I want it just for the boys because similar to them, my two boys are trashing my stunt models, and I've just found with the combat models, they're able to learn the maneuvers, and a 35 size combat model is a lot more stable than like an 09 little half A combat models, and they're quite good for them to learn with.
Is that going to be on suction?
Yeah. So I've been running other ones on suction, like.
Does that? What are you going to put a tank in that in the F2D plane or whatever you got there?
Yeah. Well, I've got these ones that I've been flying. I'll just show you what I've been doing. I've been using.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep.
I've been using like plastic tanks. That one's just got a Fox 35 stunt on it.
Right.
And quite a big wing area model, and they fly well. But these aren't that strong. They won't take a good.
Right.
Half a dozen whacks into the ground, they come apart after a few whacks.
Well, what did you use for a tank on the other plane that you were showing me? The first plane.
I've been using the little Dubro tanks.
Okay.
We have to use mufflers where we are, so I've been using piece pipes on them with a muffler pusher tap on the piece pipe and running them suction. It seems to work okay. But because it's hard to get a 35 or 36, I was thinking the 40s could work well, and they won't be working quite so hard. It's just the muffler setup is difficult, but that's what I'm thinking. I'll just use a little tanks.
Yeah, that 40 is going to eat up that fuel real quick, though.
Yeah, because the other models I've been using is like these half A diesels.
Yeah.
And they're good, but the half A diesels.
That's a 15, isn't it?
Oh, no, it's an 09. So it's a little TS09. And this last one, this is the last 09 that I've got that's still got a little bit of compression.
That's a diesel. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
these are for your boys, Gerald, so they can learn to stunt and have some line tension. Is that the idea?
yeah. The 09s have been great for them, but the motors are worn out now. And I really need to get them onto another size because I can't get the 09 engines easily, and the diesel feels hard to get. And the other thing I find with the diesels is my elbow gives out after whacking them so many times.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah, put like a 10.6 or a 10.5 on that 40.
Yeah.
Just keep it, going at a good speed.
Yeah. Because I want them to learn a bit of combat together. It'll give them a lot more fun. They're 9 and 11, so that age where they can both fly around maneuvers and a bit of inverted. And I think putting a streamer on a model each will help them learn a bit and give them a bit of fun. And
absolutely.
And teach them how to build too.
Yeah, well, Dad's
if you're doing combat.
Yeah, I've just wrecked so many stunt models with them. I figure the combat model will learn the maneuvers. They'll get the maneuvers right, and then I can go back to flying stunt models. But it's not like what you said with Sam. If they're decking models in all the time, you're losing building time, repairing. So the combat models that'll take a good hammering save that building time, that repair time.
That's how Sam learned inverted and figure eights, man. Slow combat plane.
Yeah.
And we broke a lot of props, but didn't break the airplanes.
Yeah. Sounds recipe, yeah. But it's just
running the 36X on a pacifier. You're going to have to spin it pretty good to use the fuel. It's so much pressure. Unless you're going to have to try to, put a regulator on the bladder on the pacifier.
Yeah, right. I know they like to run. Even with the small ones that I have experience with, you have to run them wide ass open for them.
Yeah, it is not much.
Or else they'll flood themselves. And
right, yeah, because you run it, you like peek it out, and then you back it up until you started to hear it just go like very slightly rich.
Yeah.
You leave it right there, and you throw it up in the air, and they'll unload in the air. Yeah,
it unloads and goes.
Right. Yeah. So it's that's a fun plane. The Super Satan's a fun plane, and everybody says they don't turn, but they turn really good. Because they never flew them, but they said because the wing is so narrow. But it turns really, really good.
Would it be better than a Voodoo then in terms of its turning rate?
Yeah, it is a narrow wing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very narrow.
Yeah, it's a knife.
Yeah. Yeah, Larry was way ahead of his time. When I was like 14 years old, I used to hear him, he used to fly at the field where I grew up. And, I would hear him fly. And he was always using 50 nitro. He always had those little cans of blast. And, he was always doing R&D work on the Super Satans and on the 36Xs. And, and Mike Luciano's dad, him and Larry, Larry would share, Mike would build the Super Satans also. Larry would give the information to Mike's, Tom's dad. And
how old is Tom? How old is Tom? Is he? He's not a cruiser yet, is he?
54, somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's. I remember. Tom's 10 years younger than me, so when I was young at the field, he was just a baby back in the early days. But I remember his dad flying the Super Satans back then. And then Sunday he had one of his dad's old 36X BBs on his Blitz.
There's a good article on Stunthangar that he started when he finished building this plane, and I went and read it today, and it talked about his dad and a lot of that stuff, and there were pictures too.
Yeah, no. His dad was a really cool, modeler. I mean, he was flying rat racers with Rossi 60s on them and stuff like that. Real wicked stuff. Back in the 60s.
I got a picture of Tom's Super Satan. Yeah, here I'll screen share a picture with y'all, as I can pull it up here. Tom, I don't think is in this picture, but his dad might be one of these fellows. Okay,
Let me see if
get back. Screen share. Application window. Share. Okay, can y'all see that?
Yep.
yeah, that's okay. That's Larry Scarinzi holding Tom's plane. Actually, that's your plane.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your plane. That
Well,
you know,
it's
Tom
got a
sent
short
you.
tail.
Okay, that's Tom's dad with the red hat on.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
You know, so, but that's Larry Scarinzi, the designer of you know, the Super Satan, the Blitz, the Blue Angel stunt plane. You know, he designed a whole bunch of planes.
Yeah. All
And
right.
that-
This is a good picture for me.
That Tom Hampshire.
Yeah, that's Tom Hampshire on the left. Yep. And I don't recognize the other two guys, but yeah, that you know, that's at the Circle Burners Field. That's where we were, you know, this past Sunday.
Yeah.
We had our
Garden
stunt.
State Circle Burners. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Oh,
Yeah.
I got a bit of
That's-
memorabilia here.
Yeah. But yeah, that's your plane.
Cool.
That's neat. Bit of history.
Yeah, it does. And yeah, I got a, you know, he wrote me a 2-page letter with all kind of snippets of things about the plane, and I'll read it closer and tell you all more about it later.
Yeah, you know, he like we were like on a mission to duplicate Larry Scarinzi's tests, like that he did back in the '60s. Like everybody said, like, there's no way he went over 120, this, that, and the other thing. You know, there's no way he did it. So, you know, I was on a mission to do it, and so was Tom. And you know, we started reading. Larry has articles called the Blitz articles, how to retime the engines and stuff like that, and what fuel to use. You know, using the degree wheel and all that stuff. You know, getting
Now,
the
is
time
Tom
down.
strictly a combat guy, or does he fly stunt or anything else? Speed racing?
Oh, Larry or Tom?
Tom.
Tom does it. He's a stunt flyer.
Okay.
Yeah, he flies. He's but I'm, you know, and a sport flyer. You know, he builds, you know, nice, you know,
Right.
combat planes. You know, he loves, you know, Larry's, you know, the vintage stuff. But
Yeah.
he's an expert stunt flyer. He has the Crossfire, the electric Crossfire.
Nice.
You know, he just finished that up 2 years ago, and he's finally got the bugs out of that. You know, he's really doing well with that.
I saw that plane at Brodax.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Do you know, have you met Tom Mike?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, met him at Brodax 2 years ago.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, he came a long way. He's doing really well, you know, with the stuff. He wanted to be on tonight, but he said he's a
was short on.
contractor. He gets up real early.
Yeah.
He does heavy.
He's short on sleep, so.
Heavy
Speaking
stuff.
of sleep, that's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to hit that.
All right. Well, thanks for coming.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
See you later.
Take care.
See you around.
Actually won intermediate stunt at the contest, you know, this past Sunday. I remember to do all the maneuvers.
You won? Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah. Last, I forget. They said I forgot. I only did last contest. I didn't place. They said I didn't. I only did one lap in between, you know, certain maneuvers instead of doing two. You know, so they didn't give me my pattern points. I lost 20 points. That knocked me right out of the running. You know.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
That's great. What plane did you fly?
I flew my Vector with an LA-40 in it. It ran really good. I got it.
Yeah, I've never flown a Vector, but it looks like it's right in my comfort zone as far as the type of plane it is.
A really good flying plane.
Oh, that's a pretty one too. I like that color.
Yeah, it's an ARF. You know, it's one of the original ARFs, but it has an LA-40 in it. And My friend bought it out of swap meet for $15.
Oh wow!
For $15, but the 40 or the Vector.
The engine.
Okay.
Bought it out at the swap meet, you know, for $15. It was my friend that I used to race with. He passed away a couple of years ago, so you know, he gave the plane to me. But you know, I bought it, one for him and one for me. And we, you know, when we were done with racing, we were going to go, you know, fly stunt. But he checked out early on me, you know.
Yeah,
so,
he did. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so. But anyway, you know, but he bought that engine for $15. I did a little tuning on it, and it runs really nice. You know, it really, you know, my first flight, I had it too rich, and I had to, you know, whip it, you know, through the level laps and had to be careful. I couldn't climb.
Yeah.
That high in the squares, you know, hitting a quarter and climbing.
That's disappointment when you can't do that full size wing over with authority.
Yeah, and then you know, like the lines are like you know sagging in on me and stuff. But then the second time I hit the needle perfect, and
oh, good.
It flew beautiful.
What's your setup? What prop and what prop do you have on?
It's the prop. It's the same one that I use on a Brodak 40. It's APC. Was it 11.5 by 4?
Okay.
The one I use on my 40s is the 10.5, 4.5.
And I'm just using the stock OS Venturi. That's like a 283.
Right.
And then, you know, then with a Super Tiger spray bar. And I put, you know, one piece of pantyhose over the Venturi. I wasn't getting enough laps out of it. I only got 4.5 ounce tank, and so I put that over there, and I picked up 6 laps. So
wow.
And it didn't really slow the plane down, but you know, or anything like choke it down. So that worked out good. I picked up 6 laps, and the other thing is I have one of those Scott Rice tube mufflers on it.
No, I'm not familiar with those.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Oh yeah.
You see a lot of guys. I don't know if you can see.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, it reminds me of the one that Scott Dinger makes.
Scott Dinger, yeah, that's what I meant. Scott Dinger, yes. That's it.
Okay, Scott Dinger, yeah. Yeah, that's a nice light muffler.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the muffler.
Yeah, Scott Dinger is out here in California. I see him a couple times a year.
Yeah, that's one of his mufflers. So that works. That, you know, they work well.
Yeah, Scott Dinger's a kick in the pants too. He's a lot of fun to hang out with.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he is a lot of fun.
Yeah, we bought the back plates off them and stuff. So friends and I got them around here somewhere. I don't know.
You bought the back plates from who?
Did he make the back plates for the LA 40s?
Who's that?
Scott Dinger.
Oh, he does? I didn't know that.
I thought he did.
I know Curtis Shipp used to do that, I think.
Oh, maybe I'm getting everybody mixed up. Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's crazy.
Charles, what did you change your name?
What's that?
Your avatar, your thumbnail says Flying Control Line Stunt now.
Oh, I didn't know it was going to cross over here, but on YouTube, I changed my name on my channel. I just thought it didn't make any sense to have a channel about flying stunt, and it's just Charles Carter. So I changed the name to Flying Control Line Stunt. Because there's a lot of Charles Carters on YouTube.
There's a couple of Rusty K's too. I don't know about Rusty Knowlton's, but
there's a lot of Charles Carters. Most of them are musicians, and when I try to send people over to my site, they're having a hard time finding me because there's so many Charles Carters, So
sounds like a good stage name.
Yeah.
Rusty, did you see the Sparky's video, Brodak 2, day 2?
I don't remember what was in it.
Well, I mean, when you first open it up, you'll see the opening shot is Jim Vergani flying the double diamond. You'll hear it going. And then the next shot you'll see is me flying my Mark 7 combat ship.
No, I hadn't looked at that.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, so if you look at you know, Brodak, you know, day 2, right as soon as it starts,
Yeah.
you'll
I'll
see,
check it out.
Okay, I'll put that in my watch list.
yeah, you'll see the double diamond going first. That's a 36X BB in that. And then right after that, except the audio's not right. He has the wrong audio on it. But
Oh, that's what you were talking about earlier.
you'll see, you know, because I looked, I said, great, he has my plane flying. And then I'm listening to it. I want to hear the engine run. You know, I'm an engine guy.
Yeah.
You know, I want to hear how the engine was sounding. It was running really good. And then I'm saying, like, what? You know, that's
Doing the 4-2 brake all over the wrong places, huh?
yeah, right. I mean,
You hear the motor, yeah.
because the thing, you know, the audio would have been real loud if, you know, from me flying that. It's you know,
Yeah.
a loud engine, you know. So, but you could see that if you wanted to see the combat. But that was me flying that, and then. I'm in the other one with my friend. He flew his, my friend Tom Schaefer flew his Fox 15 in profile, you know, on a 15 Shark.
Okay.
Oh, those are cool planes. I like that little shark.
Yeah, did you see the video? I think it's Brodak Day 1. You know, it's in the.
Yeah. Nah, I hadn't. I don't get much time to.
You'll see me holding it, you know, talking to the judges, Joe Gilbert. You know, what is that? You know, and I'm holding the Fox 15. You know.
Dennis's model's looking really nice. Oh, Dennis.
Oh, thank you.
Dennis, what's that? Oh,
Finally
wow.
got some clear coat on it.
That is looking nice.
Yeah, what a transformation.
Wow, look at that beauty.
So
That is beautiful.
one more coat of clear coat, and I should be done.
That looks nice.
That is beautiful. Are you gonna fly that in classic at the Golden State?
Trying to. I'm trying to fly it up here. There's a Ted Goyer Memorial Contest at the end of the month.
Wow.
I'm hoping to fly it up there.
What kind of propeller is that with the white edges, or is that just the light glinting off of it?
That's just the light. I mean, it's the prop's been painted to match the plane, and it's just a Dubro spinner that's been painted, and it's got a aluminum backplate.
Is that a wooden prop or a plastic prop?
It's a wooden prop. I won't fly with this. I'll fly with the APC 12 1/4, 3 3/4 prop.
Yeah. I got some black dye to dye some APCs black, but I haven't tried it yet.
Hey, that works. I've done it. That works good. Well, that plane looks really good, Dennis. I'm looking forward to hearing the flight report. What?
Let me move the camera around here, and I'll give you some.
Oh, okay.
A little bit. Let's see how to reverse this thing. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, look at that.
So.
Oh, now that looks like a completely. I can see blue in it now. It just looked charcoal before.
Yeah, well, it was all flat from being sanded, you know, and now the clear coat comes up. There is a big difference between the aircraft specialty butyrate clear dope and the certified dope. Big difference. I mean, the way it flows, the color, it's clearer than the other dope. The other dope is got a yellowish tint to it.
Nice canopy job there.
Yeah, nice paddle lines.
Yeah, I love your labels, and they look great.
Oh, you did such a nice job, Dennis.
Yeah, I was pleased the way it came out. It ain't no 20-pointer, but.
Are you sure?
It would be in my shop.
There's too many faux pas in there.
Well, I think that's only because you know where they're at. So we'll see. I look forward to seeing it at Golden State.
So
Are those the silver lines on it?
yeah, yeah, silver ink pen lines that I used, and then silver on the stripes.
Yeah.
What are you using for power? What engine?
It'd be an OSLA 46.
Okay.
And there's the.
And muffler pressure?
Yeah, just a little tongue muffler pressure.
Okay.
What prop are you using on it?
I'll be using the APC, 12 1/4, 3 3/4.
Okay,
Yeah.
you like that? Okay.
Good prop. Yep.
So
that looks really good, man. Oh man.
Right now it weighs 54 ounces.
Oh wow, not bad at all.
No, it's again I'm dealing with close to a 56-inch wingspan, so. So in fact, weight it's the same weight as my profile.
Well, how many square inches is that wing?
It's 600 and I want to say 60, I think it is.
And it weighs only 54 ounces. That's good.
Yeah.
Wow, you should have a good flying plane there. You might end up using that in advance.
Shh, don't tell nobody.
Yeah, I think I'll see you flying that in advance. I bet. Wow, really happy for you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I waited because I actually got to wait today. Whoop. You still there?
Still here.
Yeah.
It hurt my head though. Hurt my head. I got a headache.
There we go. Now we got you back.
Yep. That's very smart looking. Very nice.
Yeah, it looks really good, man. Oh, that is awesome.
I'm glad we got to see it from just scraps of wood to full-fledged model airplane.
It's been nice watching the progression.
Yeah.
So are those Hyperion wheels on there or what?
Just the nylon. What do they call those? Those are the foam wheels.
Yeah.
What I did with this though, the wheel pants split. I don't know if you can see it. So I can take the wheels off. I can change out the wheels.
Oh, very nice.
Now, is that the way you sprayed it, or did you rub it out?
I haven't rubbed it out yet. That's just the way it's been sprayed.
That looks great.
I mean,
wow.
Just to show you, I'll show you the difference between the two dopes. I mean, it's unbelievable. I just got a little bit of the old stuff. I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, but this is the standard butyrate dope from Aircraft Rouge. It's got that yellow tint.
Yeah. Right.
And that's the certified clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely different.
We're looking at your arm through the one in your left hand too, so that made it even yellower. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the clear one?
The clear one is the certified.
Certified, okay.
And when you get it, like I said, I bought a gallon of it, and you thin it 4 to 1, 4 parts thinner to 1 part dope,
right.
And it really flows nice.
Wow, that's great.
So for 1 gallon, you end up with 4 gallons of dope. If you got enough.
Okay, so it's actually more economical then, right?
Yeah.
Are they the same price per gallon or not?
No, it's about $5 more a gallon.
Okay.
Now, when you spray that, I mean, and like where I'm at now, you can't spray any kind of dope because it'll turn white. Or do you have using heat lamps, or you just?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said, how long ago did you spray it?
Yesterday.
And so it must have been pretty dry, or you had the heat lights on it.
No, it dries really quick.
No, I mean the moisture, humidity in your area. I don't know where you're located.
I'm in California, in the Central Valley, and it's pretty dry.
Yeah, because you won't be spraying dope in New Jersey, not for the past month.
The biggest problem I had was temperature, because it gets too hot, so I had to spray it early in the morning.
Right, because that plane would be white if you sprayed it here.
Yeah.
Unless you have to use like you know,
reducer, or yeah, probably
Quart-
reducer.
yeah, use retarder, slower reducer, and quartz lights, like a quartz heater.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that does the trick too. If you have a
To
quartz
dry
heater,
out the air.
right? You know, warm it up, and you know, I was having a fit doing a plane. Then I pulled out my quartz heater and put that on there, and it worked perfect.
Mm.
You know? But yeah, that's looks really nice.
It looks good.
So yeah, I figured you know, I get those 14, 15 appearance points that'll put me past Charles.
Yep, that's why I gotta outfly that 14, 15 points. Plus your pattern points. I mean, plus everything else. Yeah, got my work cut out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be like a 54-ounce plane versus a 76-ounce plane. I don't know. It's gonna be tough.
Have you got something on the building board right now, Charles?
Yeah, but I haven't done any building in like a month. I've been distracted with life, other stuff. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna have another. I'm not gonna have another plane. I don't think. I'll probably take my Strega out. But the Strega is flying better than it was last year, Dennis. I got the engine running better, plane flying better. There's a video on my channel. I posted it last week. You can check it out.
All right.
There's still some errors in there. I mean, I need to get better, but I think it's better than when I flew last year.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice flight you put up.
Thank you.
I'm going to sign off. It's past midnight here, so.
All right, Al. It's always a pleasure to see
All right,
you.
Al. Thanks a lot, man. We enjoyed it.
All right. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
But I was pleased with this today because I got to wait for the first time.
Oh, I bet. I mean, that's.
It came out lighter in my profile, and I was really, and my profiler flies really, really well. And I can't wait to try this one now.
Oh, absolutely, man. That's going to be a profile. To me, I don't see how a profile could outfly that. I just don't see how it could.
But I still got. I ran short of piano wire for the hinges because I got the continuous hinge, the piano wire hinge.
Right.
I got it for the flaps, but I didn't have enough for the elevators, so I don't know. I got to go up to Sacramento, which is an hour drive, to go pick up one piece of piano wire. Yeah.
Really? Oh, that's sad. You can't.
You don't have a music store or something you could go to and get piano wire?
I've tried. I couldn't find any places around here. All we got is a Hobby Lobby around here, and they don't have anything.
Huh.
Yeah, it's becoming a common problem, that one. I was drive to any supplies.
Well, that's too bad.
Otherwise, I was hoping to fly it tomorrow, but that's not going to happen.
Wow, that's too bad. I'm just scratching my head trying to think of where you can find some piano wire. Does McMaster sell piano wire?
I mean, I can order it online and get it, but all I need is one piece. I don't want to order 20 pieces.
Yeah, true.
I'm so far from the closest hobby shop. I always try and make sure I've got a good stock. If I use up a bit of piano wire or a sheet of balsa, I'll try and basically make a mental note so I've got another piece to replace it when I go out next time. Because it's frustrating when you get to that point and you can't cut out another rib, or you can't make up a connector or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember one time I bought all kinds of music wire trying to make some landing gear, and I made so many mistakes. I ran out right when the hobby store closed.
I made about 5 sets of landing gear for these ringmasters the other night. I was on a roll and I was bending them all up, and then Alina was yelling at one of the kids, and I put the wire instead of going out in.
That sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, I know. I have like 5 or 6 of the wrong direction.
I've made so many things back asswards I can't even count them anymore. Some of them were rather embarrassing.
That was just silly because I was distracted, and these things happen there.
Dennis, so your landing gear, is it does it have landing gear covers, or is it just how is it mounted into the wing?
It has covers with the landing gear.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so that's a removable.
Oh, that looks good. Oh, that looks really nice. That looks great.
Yeah.
I hate I'm dark planes. I just hate because it picks up all the dust and everything so easily.
Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah, I must get dusty really easy. Yeah.
And I don't have the cleanest environment at the garage, so.
That's where camo is really good. It's easy to repair and it hides all the dirt. But yeah, white planes are the other one where once the white gets dirty, it's so hard to get it clean again.
And it gets dingy looking after a while too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my one, the circulars that I fly, I had to go in and cut into the controls and replace all the ball links. And, you know, I got it all patched up and everything, but to match, I can't match the white. The clear coat had yellowed, plus the white had faded, and it's almost impossible to match. So I didn't even try, just got it close.
Yeah.
That always happens too when you paint them all, come back 20 years later and you can't get the same paint anymore. I've heard that on many.
Now, your tank, is it a metal tank that you made, right?
Metal tank.
Is it a metal clunk tank or just a metal suction?
Just metal Uniflow.
Oh, you know, okay. And the plumbing is on the out. I can't see the plumbing. You have the. How'd you do the plumbing?
Overflow here, and then Uniflow, and then you fill through here.
That's interesting. The one on the outboard, I'm trying to see that one. Can I see that a little bit better, Dennis? The outboard one?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the overflow that gets plugged.
Okay, okay. So it's pointed toward the front?
Yeah, it's just towards the front.
I didn't know what I was looking at because of the white tubing. I wasn't sure what I saw.
Oh, yeah, that's just the plug.
And then your needle valve is on the same side?
Same side.
Okay. Yeah, I remember Dave Sabon was telling me he thought that it was better to have the needle on the inside so that centrifugal force works for you, having that fuel on the outboard side of the plane.
I've heard that. I've never had any trouble running it this way. Other thing I like, my fingers are away from the muffler.
Yeah, you know what? I went to a contest. I had made that change that we're just talking about. I moved it from the outboard, which I had it on, to the inboard, right next to the muffler. I'm at a contest, and I was flying against Gary Gingrich, and I was trying to adjust the needle, and my fingers kept getting burned. The motor's running, and I already gave the judge the signal, and I didn't have the presence of mind to take an attempt. And so I ran to my flight box, grabbed my needle nose pliers so I could not get burned. By the time I got out to the center of the circle, it was like almost 2.5 minutes, and I just totally blew that official flight.
And your heart was beating about 100 miles an hour about into.
Oh yeah, I mean I wasn't even ready to do a maneuver after all that stress.
Yeah, I had my Oriental set up exactly the same positions as this plane does, and that's much more convenient. The only thing I like about having the needle on the other side, if it wasn't for the muffler, is that it's easier to reach for me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm still using the remote needle valve with the OS. I mean, I haven't changed that.
Oh, that's nice. So you're further away from the prop. That's really nice.
Yeah. So it's quite a ways.
Oh, that is really nice. Yeah, I've never used those remote needle valves. I've always went to the conventional OS needle.
All my the 25s that I run, the other 46 in my profile. I follow what Brett Buck says. He's pretty knowledgeable, and he says, "Don't change anything." And that was before I read that. I bought the aluminum backplate. I did replace that, but everything else is stock. I haven't done any modifications other than I've had to slow the engine down because it was flying too fast. So I reduced the Venturi size.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Wow, that's man, that's beautiful, man. I know that you're gonna sleep well tonight, or maybe you'd be too excited to sleep.
No, I want to fly it.
How far is that? What kind of prop clearance are you gonna have? Are you looking pretty close with that prop? Oh, that's more than I thought. That's okay.
Probably
That's
an inch and a half.
Yeah, it looks a lot closer than that on the camera.
Yeah, maybe you should send some pictures to Al Heiger for the Playmate of the Week.
Yeah, maybe I should. I probably should send it to him.
Yeah, I'm sure. Or even Stunt News, they're always looking for pictures.
Yeah, now's the time to get it.
Yeah, before something happens.
Yeah.
No, nothing's gonna happen to that point.
Exactly.
You're past that stage. Oh, that is so nice, Dennis. That is really nice, man.
So once this is done, then I work on my the Rojet 61, the rear exhaust.
There we go. Oh man, that's gonna be a world beater. And what plane is that gonna go into? That Rojet?
It'll be the Rojet will go into a new Circus.
Okay.
In fact, I had Ted Fancher look at the plans, give me some suggestions. Boy, he came up with some good ones too, and so I'll be incorporating that.
Wow.
Some of his suggestions.
Well, absolutely. Oh, that is nice, man. That's yeah, very, very, very nice. Now, for the ink lines, did you use a Rapidograph pin?
What? No, it was a what was it? Where'd it go? It was a Uniball gel pen.
No way. Really?
Yep. That's what I used. It'll be.
Wow, that's amazing. I figured you had one of those Rapidograph pins with the thing of ink and all that.
I think they would have came out. The ink lines would have come out better, a little bit more consistent. But you know, for $3, I said, let's try it. And it worked.
Wow.
And
that sure
what
is a
I
lot.
did was, you know, I inked them. You know, put the line on, and I came back with my airbrush and just did a light coat of clear dope over the top of them just to seal them.
Right.
And then go ahead and I put the decals on, the stripes and so forth, and then did a clear coat over everything.
Wow, that looks good, man. That's just really good, and that's a great little catch there with just a $3 gel pen.
Did you ever have any trouble with the ink flowing?
Yeah. And usually, and what I would do, because once I put the color down, the color base coat on, and then when it's time to pinstripe or to do the line work, I take 1000 grit sandpaper and sand the area with wet, and let it dry off really good, and then the ink would flow on it no problem at all.
Oh, good.
But if you don't sand it, it doesn't get a bite to it. It
it'll
just sort of bubbles up.
Ball won't turn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that watching Wendy, I think he also had another trick where he would dust it with was it baby powder or some sort of powder if you couldn't get.
I think it was some type of talcum powder or something.
Yeah, talcum powder. Yeah, talcum powder. Did you have to revert to that, or no talcum powder at all?
I didn't. No talcum powder at all. Just sand it. Just sand it.
Wow, very good.
Light sanding.
Very, very good. Man, that's awesome. Really, really, really liked what you did.
I had trouble with the decals, like for my number, and the little logo I got on the back and so forth. And with the dark, I'm used to doing white planes, and so with the decal paper that I just use a clear decal paper.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because you don't paint white.
There's no white ink in the printer. Yeah.
And so after I thought, man, what's going on with these? Why aren't they coming out like they're too dark? And then it dawned on me that I needed to use a white decal paper.
Yeah.
And once I did that, then they work fine.
Very nice. So you printed your own decals, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, just
Now-
I have computer program. I use Microsoft Word, and I make them up on there, and then I just take it over to Office Max, and because their quality of their laser jets is better than what I have, and they charge me 15 cents a sheet. You can't beat that. Yeah.
No, that's pretty good. Now
If
is it?
When you make them in Microsoft Word, when you do your final save before you take it down to the print shop, if you save it as a PDF, you'll be assured that it'll be exactly the same size and format as it is, and doesn't get, sometimes.
Yeah, they had Microsoft Word on their computer there. That's what I liked about it. So yeah, I had both. I had a PDF and the Word document. The
Yeah.
Word document actually printed better.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah. And in fact, let's see, what do I got left over? Yeah, it's not much left, but these are some of the things I cut out. But the little logo that I made up and so forth. That was all done in. I used a free program called GIMP. It was a GIMP, G-I-M-P, and it allows you to do some background masking and so forth. So that works out. And then this is all done in Word, and then just print it to the decal paper.
Where'd you buy that large size decal paper?
It's just 8.5 by 11 decal paper. I got it on eBay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a lot cheaper than the little stuff I buy at Hobby Lobby too, I bet.
Yeah, I think it cost. I paid like about 50 cents a sheet. I think it was the way it worked out.
Yeah, when I go to Hobby Lobby, I get 6 sheets of half-size paper for $11. So that's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
And when you say decal paper, is it a decal that slides off on water, or is it self-adhesive?
Yeah, water soluble.
Oh, yeah. So it would be very thin and
print it out and then spray it with dope, and it's ready to go.
Well, the other thing I do, I use on the edges, and it makes a big difference. Is Walther's makes what they call Solvaset,
right?
And and you use it and you just rub it around the edges, and it takes the edge and blends it into the surface that it's attached to. So
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, and you don't get a sharp edge on the edge of your decals.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
this is from the old model railroad boys, where they go in and they put decals like for the side of their box cars and so forth, and they got like a siding pattern, and so you can't get that decal to lay flat. Well, this stuff will go in and make it go into the cracks and so forth, so it all looks part of the car.
Hold it real still for a second with the label up. I'm going to get a screenshot of that. Got it. Okay, thanks.
And I mean, a jar costs you, I think it's like $6-7, but it'll last forever.
I better save that before I forget to.
How are you doing a screenshot?
Say what?
I said, how you do a screenshot?
See the button on your keyboard? It says print screen.
Oh, that way. Okay. I thought it might be in Google Hangouts. I know.
No. And I mean, if it's something that's just sitting still, I can use the clip tool too. But print screen works for getting a quick shot of something that's
not
going to be there for long.
Very nice. Oh, it's too bad you're not going to be flying tomorrow, but so maybe Friday we'll hear about how well it flies, huh?
Well, I got to make a trip up to, again, it's up to Sacramento where the hobby shop's at. Again, it's an hour drive, so if I get time tomorrow, hopefully I can get up there, because I also got to pick up some fuel for my road jet. They were out the last time I was there, so hopefully it'll be a purposeful trip, not just to go up for a piece of piano wire.
Oh, sure. I know, an hour drive, yeah. And that's an hour drive north or south for you?
Yeah, up north for me.
Okay. Well, that's right. You're in Stockton. That's right. Very nice, man. That is awesome.
All right. That was a good closing show and tell for the show, because it's about time to hang it up for tonight. But and this has been a good show. We had Chris Rudd to help us open it up. That was interesting. And he and Steve could bounce off of each other with what they both knew about France. Enjoyed that.
Were you able to get Samantha to come on?
No, she hadn't been able to get on yet.
Oh, okay. Because I really like to hear her insight, what she went through.
Yeah, I would too.
For a young person, a woman, and you know, world championships, it just
that was
had to be a unique experience for her.
Yeah, that was a really big deal. Okay, guys, y'all have a great week, and do something fun so you can tell us about it on Friday. It is Monday night again. What'd you say, Charles?
I said I hope to be flying. I have a flight report Friday.
Hope so.
Yeah, I wish there was a way I could show videos. I would show videos of it, but I don't know how to get this Google Hangout to show a video.
I hope I can get out to the shop and have something to talk about that I actually did rather than talking about it. So, you know, maybe I can get some woodwork done this week. But anyway, y'all have a great week. And you folks over on YouTube, looks like we got 6 viewers still on there. Appreciate y'all coming. And for everybody, fair winds, tight lines, and we'll see y'all Friday. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.